The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, The Green Law Firm, personal injury attorney, Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies, Moe's Pizza, Lance's AC and Heating, CC's Children Blocks, The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move, 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 move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a good one for you all tonight at 7:20 p.m. The head coach of the Cecilia Bulldogs, and you can see we got them Cecilia shirts on. You heard, man? We repping Cecilia up in here tonight. We got the one and only Coach Dennis Skains. Coach Dennis Skains was so nice. It was nice of him last year when we had him on the show to give us some gear, and we thank him, and we wearing it tonight for Coach Skains. Um, Everybody that's here, like, tag, share this to all your family and friends. Get them to watch this show. Before we move on, I got the one and only VK Jones. What's up, VK?
What's going on, man? We appreciate everybody joining us. Took the words on my mouth. It's all to the good. You know what I'm saying? We all doing our jobs and everything else, man. So it is good to be here. What a week. What a week. To cap the prep football season and everything. And we're going to talk about it. What a week. Also, an interesting weekend in sports in itself. So we got a lot to talk about today and tomorrow before we to be honest with you, last two shows of 2024.
Yeah, last two shows of 2024. We're gonna take a couple weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, and we're gonna come back ready for you all for basketball season. Anthony, I got you, man. I'm gonna holler at you. You got that. I'm gonna do that, man. I gotta check on VK shirt again because I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna check on his shirt. It's supposed to come in, buddy.
Oh
Repping the
yeah.
Cecilia Bulldogs. All
Oh
right.
yeah, my hash it out. I forgot.
Yeah, that's your yeah. VK. I don't want to get into the games yet. I want to do that after we talk to Coach Gaines, but I do want to talk about being in the dome for championship week. Your thoughts about being there, seeing people you know, little reunions with people you know, all that good stuff. I'll let you go first.
Jared kind of checked me a little bit on Saturday. Say it was a little joke. He said, "You think you're some sort of superstar?" Yeah, I am some sort of superstar. I'm somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, hey, remember who brought you to the dance, bro? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, still, it was a real good weekend indeed. It was good to be in the dome once again. It's starting to be a home to me, regardless of the fact I do work for the dome as well. But regardless of the fact, I love being there for the state championships. It's a great time of the year. It's a great time of the year, just to, you talk to coaches you've been covering all year, coaches you've been friends with. A lot of media this year. A whole lot. I think this is the most we have had in a long, long time with the LHSA event. And big ups to Mr. Ethan. Great job. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
he really looked beyond things and look at the bigger picture. Like besides the mainstream, you got people that has been covering things online and having their own websites, big on social media and stuff like that. And it's good that they get the opportunity to come in to experience this, to do their coverage, to do all that stuff, to get the opportunity. And that's big, that's huge there. That's breaking a lot of barriers. So big ups to Mr. I think his last name is Anderson. But
Yes. Ethan Anderson.
Ethan Anderson. So it was good to meet him finally. I got confused with one person,
Yes, you
but
did. Try to
I got
correct me. I'm looking at you like, oh, here we go with names again, and he trying to tell us who the people are and how you say the names. There you go.
now, I messed up this time. But Jared knows I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. I know a lot of people. So it's just the fact I made that mistake. So I take the L on that. But Ethan done a great job. I just knew he would look at the bigger picture because there were some people that we know that we associate with a lot, and we encourage them to go ahead and apply, to get a chance to get access. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing what they have in product is doing really really good, and when they said, "Hey, we're in," and it's awesome because it feel like to me it's a reward saying that you made it. But at the same time, you coming there to work too. And they did come there, get coverage, get content, get interviews. So, but it was good to see a lot of media conglomerates this weekend from all over the state, man. It was great to meet the people. It was cool meeting other new people, even students. We had Nickel
Yeah,
State,
had some
we had,
students.
we had Nickel State University had their students come up in there, and also Southeast Louisiana had a couple of their students from the Southeastern Television channel. So they came through and did some work and stuff like that. It was, and Southern was in the house, and so it was good to see a lot of people. See a lot of college coaches came down and recruited. We even seen Coach Ed Ogeron. Ed Ogeron was in the house
Coach O.
this weekend, man. So it was good to see him there and everything, man. And great all around a weekend it was, but also, we'll talk about the games later, but we, we the South in general, South Louisiana, big time won the weekend, but then on top of that, Southeast of Louisiana with great representation over the week, man. So that it makes us look good. It makes us look good and everything else, but very enjoyable time.
I
But it
tell you
was
this.
draining. But it was draining
Oh,
too,
oh, I was gonna start
because
off with
he.
that. I was
I'll
gonna start
go.
off with that,
Go
bro.
ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Working in that dome, 8 games, 3 days. Yeah, you drained on that Sunday, man. And I promise you, when I got back home, I didn't even make it to the bed. I made it to the sofa, and I didn't wake up till 11:30 a.m. the next morning. That's how out I was. You be drained. I'm gonna bring in George Peppers in a minute, but man, you get to see people you met, under the lights crew. You saw them, G Sports, Josh Preston, Big Easy, and I can say more. Just talking to people, Crescent City Sports, can't forget them. Um, Talking to people, man. You see these people that you met, and you talk to them. Not only just seeing the games, but the people that you know. It was fun. Uh, we waiting on VK to take a picture with under the lights. We waiting on VK. The goal was 11 o'clock a.m. We take the picture together. 11:02, VK called me. I'm on my way. Y'all know VK got to that sideline at 11:04, and he just stayed on the sideline talking to any and everybody. And we were like, forget it, take the picture. You see, he said that saying to everybody, right? He talking to everybody, man. We waiting on him. And take the picture, we ain't no more. But he did get his picture eventually, though. But but it was all good, all fun, man. Even us doing the in between games of Carr, Alexandria, and Ruston and Central for Crescent City Sports on the 106.1 the ticket and CrescentCitySports.com, man. That was good enough for us three to hash it out show crew. So we had a good time. I bring in the other member of the Hash It Out Show crew, Mr. George Peppers. George Peppers, we're not talking about any of the games right now. We're gonna do that
I
after.
know. I'm listening. I was listening to the recollection of the weekend, and I wanted to throw
Yes.
my
Go ahead,
two
brother.
cents in.
Yes.
And yeah, one of the highlights was, of course, you making that phone call to get in a picture of VK, but he decided to be Mr. President instead of Mr. Hash It Out Show, trying to act like a whole politician. And but no, that's all in fun. And we left a group message between me, you, and Jordan and Enoch from the Under the Lights group. All four of us threw a little soundbite on him. And yeah, eventually he got it. But no, as far as the weekend in and of itself, it was great to be there. But I had to work that Sunday morning, and can I tell you, when I woke up at 4 o'clock Sunday, I wanted to throw my phone because I set my alarm. I was like, man, 4 o'clock. I didn't want to get up. I was like, damn, back to what's that song? Soul to soul, back to life, back to reality. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
was Sunday. And VK kept saying, take the day off, take the day off. I should have listened, but I'm a loyal person. I'm dedicated to what I do. I'm a public servant, so I wasn't gonna, and all that. But as far as the weekend, it was awesome. It was awesome to be with you guys and to meet a lot of people. And yeah, Jordan Taylor, you're ensconced that right. Absolutely, it was a weekend to remember. Um, Lots of ebbs and flows to the games itself. We will talk about that later. But the company, the people that we met, uh, got to meet one of our fans, Jared, and we both thought it was some. I had the biggest misconception. Jeffrey Mitchell.
I
We
think we
both were
all
like,
three of us did.
yeah, I thought he was like one of them young kids, students or something. I was like, man, it's him. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Jeff,
But
Jeffrey
he
Mitchell,
was.
grown ass man, bro.
No, and we sitting there like, man, he must be 18, 19 years old, kid, and all that stuff. I'm sure he's flattered by that comparison. Oh, Austin, there you go taking shots. It's the end of the season, bro. Come on, man, it's Christmas time, dog. But no, it was a wonderful weekend to be with you guys, and yeah, we hashed it out during the in game of the Saturday slate, and uh, congratulations to you, JB, and to your Shaw Eagles. I got to tell you guys, y'all were on the field when that happened. I was in the press box because I had to do the in the segue to the second game, which was Dunham and Catholic of New Iberia Friday.
Yeah.
I was upstairs in the press box, and Emmanuel was the color analyst with Wayne Stein with Ken Trahan on the call for Shaw E.D. White, and Ken Berthelot was standing right next to me. And he was like, so how close are you to the Shaw program? I said, well, very, because my brother is a graduate of Shaw, and one of my closest friends is a graduate of Shaw, and I have a lot of friends that are Shaw grads. He gave me a hug, and he went up and patted Emmanuel on the back. And then Ken, in his own infinite wisdom, tried to get Emmanuel to sing the fight song of Shaw on air. Emmanuel volunteered. He said, I was in the band at Shaw, but no way will you get me to sing the fight song. Because he says he doesn't sing. He's not. So I said, me jokingly, after it was off the air, I gave him a big hug, congratulated him. I said, Emmanuel, so are you trying to tell Ken and them, are you a bathtub singer? Since you can't sing in public? They say
Oh
bathtub singers sing
Lord.
great. Well, I was messing with him, just joking with him. But I was happy for y'all that Shaw won. Um, you know, I mean, you guys are gave your life to that school, gave 4 years to that school, and to see y'all celebrate. And a lot of friends of mine are Shaw grads.
I
I
didn't
got to see a
celebrate.
lot of them.
I didn't
Huh?
celebrate.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no, no.
celebrate.
I'm not saying public. I'm saying like be happy. When I say celebrate, it's a broad definition.
Okay.
Okay, work with me, brother. Work with me.
I'm with you,
But
bro. I'm with
I I feel that. Somebody out here was greatly upset after Friday night, but we won't say names. You know, I
you.
mean,
We'll get to that later on today after
yeah,
we
we
go
will.
Skains
But I
and
tell you what, what was crazy is that six of the first six games we were like, man, we were in paradise. They were competitive. They were last possession games, and we'll break them down later, like we said. But then the two on Saturday, I don't want to say duds. I just think two teams were clearly superior. But we'll talk about that later. But after we left, I walked out of that Superdome, got in the. We left. Me and VK and Emmanuel said our goodbyes to you and all that. And I got in the truck, and the first thing I told Emmanuel, I said, "It's over. Seems like we just got started." You know, and that's what I felt. I really did. I was like, just it felt like we had just gotten there Thursday and we gotten our credentials. We're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be 8 games. We're thinking, oh, it's gonna be time consuming. The old accident came to play this weekend, guys. Time for having fun, right?
That's right.
And we did had it with everybody and just really just watching good football and seeing the highs and the lows and the emotions and the natural highs and everything else. It was a great weekend to be had, and um, I wish we were back there again this week. But the old saying, another old saying, all good things come to an end, right? So,
That's right.
so we put the
Let
book.
me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Me,
You got it on today? You got it on?
I was looking for it and I can't find it. I don't know.
Oh my
I'll explain that. I'm
God.
going to explain that to you in the chat.
Oh
It's
my
not. It's
God.
not intentional. I'll explain that to you in the
I don't
chat.
think it is. I don't think it
No, no,
is.
no, 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 no.
But
Just trust me. I'll explain it to you in the chat.
let me ask. Let me
We'll
answer
leave that
Anthony.
alone.
Yeah, let me answer Anthony Branson's question. He like to know our opinions on um the team of the year, one that made it to the dome. I think we all would agree probably Ed in the car.
Yeah, they gave
Ed in the
out.
car.
Speaking of, I don't know if you saw, but the Greater New Orleans Quarterback Club gave out their year-end awards today. John
Yep.
Johnson got Player of the Year, well
Yep.
deserved. Um, Team of the Year, the Ed Daniels Team of the Year, Ed Nakar,
Mm-hmm.
and Lyle Feet got Coach of the Year.
No, he didn't. Hank Tierney got
Bryce
coach of the
Brown.
year.
No, Feet got an award. I thought it was Coach of the Year.
No, Hank Tierney got coach of the year.
Oh, Hank.
Hank.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well, uh,
All right. With that being said,
mhm.
Austin, we're gonna tell you who won the picks after the interview with Coach Skains. All right. With that being said, we're taking a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will start our interview with the Division II non-select state champion head coach, Coach Dennis Skains, right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Hi, I'm Erica Randolph, head coach of the Hahnville Tigers boys basketball team, and you are watching.
Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504-301-8353. Did you experience storm damage from Hurricane Francine? Barretto Home Solutions can help. You can give them a call at 504-940-7552.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, alongside with VK
You
Jones and
know,
George Peppers. Joining us now, like I said, he is now a state championship winning head coach. He's the head coach of the Cecilia Bulldogs. He's back with us for the second time on this show, the one and only Coach Dennis Skains. Coach Skains, what's going on?
So man, y'all look good. Y'all look
Thank
good in them clothes, right? Only, well, or two of y'all do. Two of y'all look good
Yeah,
with that
I don't know about
bulldog
only
gear,
those.
man. So,
Oh, Coach Skains, man, thank you, man. Thank you for joining us, taking time out your schedule to be with us. So let's get right into it. So, how does it feel, Coach Skains? How does it feel?
feels good, I guess. You know, it's I'm pretty boring guy. I guess it hadn't all the way sunk in yet. You know, still feels the same so far. It's just I've heard people say sometimes it's more of a relief when you win it. You know, and I think as of right now, I think that's how it is. But I think also once I can kind of catch up on a little sleep, get a little, get back into a normal routine of eating and sleeping normally, then I think I'll appreciate it a little bit more.
What was going through your head when Franklinton was driving down the field and the quarterback fumbles and you guys recover, but then it went to instant replay? What was going through your head?
Well, I was glad that they were reviewing it, and we had done well with the other two reviews. So, you know, and the more we looked at it, we could tell that the ball was loose, but it's got to be conclusive, and you never know. So we, obviously, it went our way, but it was more of just kind of the waiting to get the final answer, before we knew for sure. But it was nerve wracking, but it was kind of like you can see it, which is we had it last year too, but I don't remember getting reviewed this many times. I certainly didn't review any plays last year, but you can kind of see the replay up there, and as you're seeing it, you're like, I mean, the video is so good that you're like, man, yeah, I think it's loose, and luckily we had that because that helped us out big time.
Yeah, the fumble actually happened right in front of me, and I want to say, Brock McThurn was next to me, and I just screamed it. I said, "Oh, that's a fumble!" And
Yeah.
Brock was like, "You sure?" I said, "I'm telling you, that is a fumble. It looked clear as day to me right there."
Right.
So I could be a good instant replay person. Just ask me. But anyway, Coach, like you just said, you guys got to the dome last year. It didn't go your way, but from the dome last year and getting back this year, what was the mindset of your players?
There was a level of focus all season long, but I will say when the playoffs hit, it kind of went to a different kind of level. We had seen how everything was landing. We lost 3 games, so we knew we weren't going to have a home playoff game, and we kind of started embracing before the season even ended. Um, we started embracing that road dog kind of mentality. Uh, and if we're being honest, like we put a lot on. We knew we got to play Opelousas week 8, and if everybody was given true serum, we probably uh, everybody was waiting on that game almost. And it's like you go over there, it's a hard fought game, and obviously you lose. That takes a lot of wind out of your sails, but it also kind of refocuses you. And looking back, we probably put too much of an emphasis, not by saying anything, just because of the way we feel, with everything and the way it went. Um, where it's almost you're just kind of waiting for week 8, as weird as that sounds. And you know, I think once that game was over, the team kind of was able to refocus and kind of recommit to what the main goal was, which was we wanted to win the last game of the season.
Yeah, you speak of going on the road. My goodness, man. I mean, you pretty much went all over the state in Lutcher, North DeSoto, the Plaquemines, then back to the Dome. And I forgot who you played in the first round, but
Pearl River, that was one of the long. Yeah, it was the second longest one. Yeah,
Pearl River, yes.
yeah.
Man, y'all was all over.
Mhm.
Before I pass it on to VK, this senior class, talk about how much this senior class has meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, they to the entire program. When you look at, and I was I was guilty when I was younger of not looking at it as a program, looking at it as individual seasons. But when you look at it as a program and how much each class gives to the program and gives back, and kind of what is the mark that they set? How did they help raise the level? And this class has just won so many big games and has hit so many mile markers, and also the things that they've done off the field. The way that they've led, the way that they've accepted the discipline that we believe helps us win football games. We're not an easy place to play. You can't be late to school. You can't not turn in your homework. You can't uh, say the wrong things in class to a teacher, or you can't get in trouble. There's a lot of things that if you want to play football here, you've got to be able to accept. And this class accepted it and understood. Hopefully understood why we did it. And I'm just really proud of everything they've done, both on the field and off the field.
Coach Skains, man, I tell you, you really earned this. You really earned this. You go way back as an assistant coach. You worked your way up as a head coach. You took a lot of things and everything else. You took things personally during the off season, the transitions, especially from the experience in the dome getting their first time as a coach, as head coach, to be in the state championship, to coming back and everything. Uh, for you, it's unbelievable for you to get that done, to finish the job and getting redemption for Cecilia. So congratulations to you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you saying that. It is a long road, and it's difficult. And I think it makes me think of all the guys, like Salt. You look at Salt. I mean, that's the third team he's brought to the Dome. Is that right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's been so hard to get one team to the Dome. I can't imagine doing it with three. And just about the teams that consistently do that. Y'all talked about Carr. What an unbelievable, team they have. Just and just the tradition of being able to do that over and over and over. I think it kind of you have a lot of respect for those guys that are able to do it on a consistent basis, because you know how hard it is to do it even just once. So I appreciate that. It's been a long journey and a long road, but it's kind of what we chose to do for a living. Is to try to do it the right way. And I'm proud of this group for doing it the right way and for us to be able to get there.
What you can say, especially for this team, for this Cecilia team this year, pulling something from a similar district team the year before, a low seed, going on a huge run and winning some huge road games and getting to the Superdome, and not just getting there, finishing the job, especially these last 2 years. But last year was Opelousas. This year it's you guys, and you this time finish the job. What you could say more than anything else in that, how in that district alone, how tough it is to not just win the district, but at the same time that, hey, either one of us can beat anybody.
Yeah, and we felt like that. Look, I thought there's obvious similarities to us and Opelousas from a year ago. We played even similar teams, and had to go on the road to beat them. And that's, and I said that last year going to the Dome. The thing that made me the most nervous last year was how much better I know they had to have gotten going to those places and playing on the road, Westfeld, then Lutcher, then North DeSoto, which is probably the hardest. And being able to then, go to the Dome, it's like, man, even if they didn't want to, they were going to get better. They couldn't have helped it. It's beating too many good football teams. And, I think and we were in a situation where we were home. That's the cards we were dealt, and, we're not going to apologize for it. But at the same time, I think there's something to be said for this season too. We grew each week. We continued to grow and to improve, and you could just see the confidence continue to grow too. That we would be able to do it, and that we had what it was going to take. So again, it's a lot to do with this senior class and the personality that they kind of put together, and the each team's a little different. They all have their own makeup, and this team was certainly has a toughness to them that we're pretty proud of.
Well, looking at the schedule, just 3 losses on the year, and I think these 3 losses really made your team really, really battle tested. You lose to your district rival as the defending state champion. You lose to a good St. Augustine team, which you took and about days ago after a storm and everything, to play them and being competitive in that game, with a team that went to the playoffs and were a couple minutes away from upsetting St. Thomas More. And then you took on a state champion recently, the Central Wildcats, and the run that they
Wow.
made.
Were y'all expecting that? Wow. What they did to Ruston? Unbelievable, man.
Right.
Woo, my goodness. Yes.
They're good.
Do you think those games really, really prepared you? Because I
Of
know that
course.
Central one is like,
Yeah.
that's shocking in itself, that not even a point on the board.
Yeah, look, I was not that I didn't think they'd win, but like to do what they did, that was so impressive, and it's just shows you what we knew their defense was good. Look, they shut us out. I don't remember when we've been shut. Now Diesel got hurt and everything, but it's not like we didn't have somebody to put at quarterback. We had somebody else to put at quarterback, and for us to get shut out, we hadn't been shut out. And God, I don't know when I don't know if we've ever been shut out since I've been here, and Central shut us out in that game, and it was impressive to see how much, and they kept getting better. That's the thing too. It's not like they were always great. They were where they were, but they grew each week. You can tell that. But yeah, playing those, that's the reason we schedule them. And I know, it's not like me and Jimmy talk, but I know that's why he schedules the way he schedules too. I mean, it's not our district is a little down outside of Opelousas, and we have to schedule really good football teams because we know that makes us a better football team. We scheduled Notre Dame years ago when we could never beat them, and I made a point to keep putting them on the schedule just because I knew even though they were beating us every year, we were getting better by playing them. And then obviously we always want to play some bigger schools. The St. Aug thing was we just wanted to play. We called everybody in the area, and it was really difficult to find anybody who wanted to play. And, called St. Aug, and he was like, yep. And I was like, awesome, great, let's play. And I didn't really give a lot of thoughts to winning and losing it. It was just, I knew we wanted to play. Our kids are excited when I told them St. Aug, they were excited because they know the name, and they know some of the kids on the team. And look, anytime you play Opelousas, you're gonna, whether you like it or not, you're gonna get better. It's gonna be a physical game, and it's gonna be the brand of football that they play. And yeah, we didn't want to lose that one. And of course, look, there was so much build up and all that extra energy that was spent, probably with the players, but probably also with the coaches. And but I knew also how good a football team they were, and it was going to always make us better whether we won or lost that game. And at the end of the day, the goal is to be as good as you can be when you hit in the playoffs. And we've been blessed enough to where we don't lose 3 games before the end of October very often. But I know that sometimes you got to go through that if you want to be as good as you can be.
Well, your senior class has been amazing in itself of what it has done and what it has accomplished over at Cecilia and the history of it. What you can say about the senior class, and any of them, those seniors are being recruited, including Diesel Solari. Is somebody picking them up some way, somehow, or giving them an offer or something? Because he is an amazing athlete, but also you have some good other seniors as well. Anybody's really recruited out of your senior class?
Well, Brent Gordon has already signed with UL. He's actually he put off his signing day, although he did sign the letter of intent until this Friday because he didn't want to distract from the playoffs. But that's number one, our safety, a free safety, and a wide receiver. So he signed with UL. Diesel, who, this somebody's going to get him, and somebody's going to get a steal. He's probably going to have to go junior college, just depending on, it's going to come down to the very, very end with the grades. But he's a guy that whatever route he has to take, somebody's going to get a really good football player. He's a different player. He's a different breed. I haven't been around anything like him, as far as a football player. And I know that he's going to play football again if he wants to. And I know he does. So I'm going to do everything in my power to find him a home. And we want to find him a good one because we think he's that caliber of player, which if it is a junior college route, we're hoping that we get a Mississippi or a Texas team and get him in there to a place where we know they're going to take care of him and make sure he graduates and, stays on the right track, because he's too good of a football player to not play at a high level, in my opinion. Ellis Stewart is a kid that I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying everything I can. He's going to have grades, but he kind of got overshadowed a little, I think, by Diesel and Brent, and he's had such a great year. He plays receiver and DB for us, and he's the best athlete on our campus. I tell people that all the time. He's our best basketball player, our best baseball player, and he ran track last year for the first time. Made it to state in 2 sprint relays. The kid's he's just a great athlete. He can play multiple positions, and I think he could do it at D1 level. So we're gonna full court press some schools with him, hopefully pretty pretty quickly. And then Christian Menard is a kid who I think is trying to decide between Northwestern State and Air Force. Just because of he has great grades, obviously, if Air Force is after him, which I think would be, a life-changing decision. But then, he's also Northwestern State, Northwestern Louisiana. He's right here at home and where his family can see. So I try not to push him either way. I just, I buy the T-shirt after they sign. I'll buy the T-shirt of whatever school they sign with. So.
Last question before I pass it on to George Peppers. This has been a huge week. We've seen a lot of the areas and everything else. For one, the 337, the Lafayette, Acadiana area has been huge. Once again, with 3 more wins of state championship. But not just that, we see a lot of curses being gone. And your team is one of them. First state title since 95. What you can say about that trend that a lot of teams that have not, they went through long droughts, are not winning the state championship, finally comes to rest, and you're one of the teams to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's special here because of just the tradition that was created years ago, and how her, coaches that had made that happen, Johnny DeVilio, Wagaspack, Coach Guidry, I mean, just Coach Autry, just names that I could keep naming them. They built this foundation and created something special and brought the team to the Dome 3 different years in the 90s. It's like being able to get back to there and to be kind of our guys to be mentioned at the same breath as those guys, I think is really special for the community. And look, so many of those guys, it's some of their kids are on this team, which is pretty cool. Where you've got guys who, like Jay Snott, number 6, one of our little defensive ends, he had a decent little game, and his dad was on that team. His dad was on the sideline, and it's kind of, one of our assistant coaches is Jason Falk, and his son plays on the team, and he won in 95. So it's pretty cool little tradition, and it's good to get the team back to there. And really, to anybody to make it ever, it's not easy. So it's I have a lot of respect. I always have because I've always known how hard this thing is, and I have so much respect for those guys that do it on a regular basis, just because it's almost like you think they found the cheat code and you kind of want to steal it from them. But I think the cheat code is hard work, and that's kind of what this team was about. And we're just happy that we're back, kind of bringing it back at least a little bit.
George Peppers, you're up.
Coach Skains, first off, congratulations on winning a long-awaited state championship for Cecilia. You guys were amazing. You guys were resilient. A lot of gut checks in that game, and you found a way to win it late. Congratulations on winning the state championship at Cecilia. First off, let me start with that. Let's talk about the game. Not a problem. Let's talk about the game itself, because the first 6 possessions of that game, touchdown, 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 6 touchdowns, 3 per each side. I felt like, oh boy, this feels like both teams might get into the 50s. What changed in the ebbs and flows of that game that you guys were able to make some stops on a great player in Jacob Crane, and then in turn, Franklinton was able to slow you guys down for a spell? What changed after that first wave of touchdowns?
Well, I know, first of all, I'm a defensive guy, so it was a very painful first half. I can tell you that much, but it was, we've been kind of bending without breaking, which I hate that term. But that's kind of what we've been. And we got a lot of youth out there, but it was kind of a painful first half. But at halftime, I'm sure they did the same. They do a great job scheming. You could tell that on film just watching. But then obviously in person, you can say it's kind of like you want to tip your cap to them a few times during the game when you realize that they had seen something and took advantage of it. But I know at halftime we made some adjustments and had to obviously commit more to the box just because of the way they were running the football. And we had to take some chances in man coverage, which is not that we don't. We're nervous to be in man. It's just that we don't do a lot of it. We're probably 90% zone. So, when it's something you haven't done a lot of, you don't want to just, well, let's go do it in the second half of the dome, So, for us, and I'm sure he could give you a similar answer. Yeah, but we committed more to the box, and we made sure that our safeties were getting a little bit better reads, and make sure that we were getting extra help in the box with those guys.
You talk about your senior class, but I want to focus on Diesel Solari, and I know you have the utmost of praise. Talk about Diesel, the student, not the football player. We know what he is as a football player, but talk about him as a student.
Of football, or just a student athlete?
Student.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna he has an opportunity to if the grades go right, he could be an academic qualifier. It's going to come down probably to the wire, which is probably why he's going to have to sign with the junior college. But Diesel's a smart guy. He has a lot more going on in his life than most kids his age. And not that I'm not making excuses for him. If you ask him, he'll tell you I'm the last person to make excuses for him. But he deals with a lot more than but most teenagers, and he did what a lot of kids do their freshman year, where they don't take it quite as serious with the grades, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a hole. And then he had an ACL tear in the middle of his sophomore season after he was on a great start, and he kind of fell in a hole right there. And those two things kind of put him in an academic hole that he's been digging himself out of, to his credit. He's put himself in a position where he can, if he makes certain grades, he could be an academic qualifier for Division I scholarship. To be safe, obviously, we're going to try to find him the best junior college scholarship available. And then if it does turn out that he's a qualifier, then I think somebody in Division I is going to get lucky. But so that's kind of the path we're on with Diesel. My biggest thing is just to make sure he has an opportunity wherever it is, because I know Diesel, the competitor, and if he keeps competing the way he always has, then no matter where we put him, I can put him anywhere. He's going to find a way to get to where he wants to be, just because of his determination and the competitor that he is.
His impact on that game Friday night was unmistakable. I mean, every time he had a chance to get loose, he got loose. The first play of the game, what was it, an 83-yard run? I think the very first play of the game, you knew right away. I was like, oh boy, regular thing, you got a chore on your hands stopping that guy.
A lot of people don't know he had tweaked his he had tweaked his ankle pretty good on I think the first series. So he wasn't he didn't play as much defense because of that, but he kind of, at first he was a little tender on it, and then I think he just decided, like, what am I saving it for? So he just kind of gritted it out. I know he was in some pain, but he did a good job of that. You had a couple of them. The flu bug hit us pretty good at the beginning of the week. The guy who caught the touchdown, Ellis, was still pretty sick. You could kind of tell. He was very sluggish the whole game, but we had a couple guys throwing up at halftime. But they all kind of gutted it out. But Diesel was one of the ones that toughed it out also.
The preparation coming into this game. Let's talk about last year too. The preparation going into last year. How did you feel your team came into this game this year? What was different about this year than last? I mean, obviously the result was different, but I'm talking about as far as your preparation in advance of this game. How was it different this year?
There was just such a focus and there was a focus and a determination each and every week. And obviously I know some of that has to do with, we were on the road and we we're playing really good football teams. So you had to be, but also it has to do with, I don't think any other result would have been acceptable for this group. We talk about burning the ships or whatever, just not giving ourselves another option, but to do it, to end it the way we want to end it, and this group has been really, really determined. I mean, even that week, even the week of the dome, man, I'm just telling you, we didn't practice on Monday and Tuesday. We spent the whole time getting kids to go get to see doctors so that we could get scripts made of flu medicine that maybe helps them get over the flu. I mean, it was but even with all the distraction and all the guys that had to miss school and had to miss practice because of, having the flu, they were just still, they showed up on Friday with a determination and a focus that they didn't have a year ago. And it's not their fault, you know, and it's not like we weren't focused. We knew that Opelousas is a really good team last year, but the difference of what Opelousas had to go through for the 4 weeks before the Dome and what we went through, it just wasn't a comparison. Opelousas was more prepared, and I think the same thing happened with us this year, which is why we beat a Franklinton team that honestly, all season long, games like this, they've always won. They've always won. They've never, like, these kind of games, they live, like, this don't make them nervous. That they live in these games. I mean, every game's coming down to 1 point, overtime, whatever. So I knew in a close game, they weren't going to be nervous. That's what they do. So, you know, I think that's another kind of tip of the cap to our guys, just because they were able to beat a team that is so good at playing in those close games and is so well coached.
There were an abundance of instant replay challenges throughout the weekend in the Superdome, and you know we use it in the dome only, not anywhere else. What is your position on instant replay in the championship settings in the dome?
No, obviously I love it.
Well, of course,
I mean,
I knew
helped
you
us
would
3
say
times.
that. I'm just talking about in general, though.
Yeah, no, I love it. No, look, it's
I
about
feel
getting
that.
it right. I can tell you I'm such a biased opinion, though. I mean, I'm always going to love it from now on, but I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, and I'm sure for fans it probably slows it down a little bit, but they're also getting it right. They did a great job of getting it right. Even the one I challenged wasn't good enough to overturn. You know, I challenged, I think it was the first drive, you know, and they got that one right. You know, they do such a good job, and you know, the referee, this crew was such a good crew, man. And I think they actually got in trouble because they at least that's what I was told, because they had always kind of tell you, hey, this is how as a review's going on. I didn't know they're not supposed to, but they'll say, hey, I think to keep the game flowing, they'll say, hey, you're not going to win it. Just so you know, hey, get your offense ready or get your extra point team ready or whatever. And it kind of keeps the flow of the game going. Well, they accidentally, I guess, told us on that one too, which that was the game. So you know, we started going berserk on the sideline. I think they kind of got in a little trouble, but in all honesty, the crew was really, really good, and I think they were definitely what you would expect at a state championship game. They did a really good job,
As
and then
long,
obviously, yeah.
as long as the officials are consistent, I don't have a problem with replay at all. You know, just be consistent and you know, just do it the right way. And yeah, I saw what felt like a premature celebration by you guys, I guess, in
Yeah, it
reference to
was
what you're saying.
very.
Looking at that play at regular speed at second fumble, for the record, I thought it was a fumble, but I was one of the unsure ones. I'm usually one that wants to see it again, but at regular speed, I thought it was. So when I watched it back on slow mo, you know, when they kept showing the angle, it looked like the ball got loose and y'all got it. And I was like, all right, they're going to get this right. You know, if they'd have upheld it, then who knows? I mean, who
Yeah,
knows what would have happened? But
yeah,
fortunately
absolutely.
for you guys, that call came out the right way, which was the right call at the end of the day.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, that's what you
what
want.
we exactly? What were you thinking though when Franklin was driving to potentially either tie or maybe steal this game from you guys? What were you thinking as they were moving the ball down the field? What were you telling your guys? How were you coaching them up?
Well, we again we took some chances on man, and a play that we had worked on all week and just talked about ad nauseum. In all of my genius, I switched our coverage to a man coverage, which and I said, look, we're not going to cover the tailback on this play because I wanted to get pressure, but I didn't want to lose BJ over the top. So I kept BJ over the top, and I was like, look, if the running back gets it, we're going to rally to it. Well, they come out in a formation, and and I'm like, oh my God, this is the play where they throw to the tailback. And we had been working on it all week, but I had already sent, you know, to where we're in man, so our guys aren't there that are normally going to cover it. So I was, you know, going back and forth on how I wanted to kind of play the situation as far as, you know, you take such a chance with those guys because they're not flashy. They're really not. And you look at, when you put them on film, they're not flashy. They're efficient. They're dangerous because of how efficient they are and how good they are at, just moving the ball and knowing the situation. So, and scheming you. They're very good at scheming you. So, like, I was nervous just trying to decide if we wanted to kind of stay in a man or a zone look. But, our guys in the second half have played really hard. And that's kind of the part of this defense, man. We weren't as good as we were maybe a year ago running the defense, but we caused a lot more turnovers and takeaways this season. It does breed a violence that you don't get maybe if you're not running this type of defense. So I think in the second half they kind of ramped it up a little bit, and they got a chance to be a little bit more physical, which turned, in turn we got some takeaways out of it.
Last question. Your crowd was in droves in the Superdome on Friday night. That was one of the loudest crowds I heard all weekend. Talk about their impact on your team. They were so supportive, and they didn't stop yelling. They were just at it from 1 minute to the last.
Oh yeah, they're great, man. This community is. I was talking with a coaching buddy of mine who's in a situation he's not happy with, and he was like, if I could just have it matter, I just want it to matter to the community. If I want, a community that I don't have to tell them what our record is. They already kind of know it, And I was like, yeah, well, that's Cecilia, man. I mean, that's what they are. They unconditionally will support this football team and the kids and the players. They're there. We had a year when we weren't good here. It was 2018, the worst year of my career, and they still were. It was still packed on the home side. They always come to the games. That year they were yelling at us, at me as the coach, and not cheering for us, but but they were still there, man, and they were supporting. So I just joke about that, but no, they've always been really, really good, and it's a community that expects you to be successful and expect you to work hard. And that's what I like. I want that. I want my community to expect things out of us, keeps us honest and keeps us working hard.
Most definitely. Coach Dennis Skains, congratulations on your state championship win. Thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on. Thanks, guys.
Definitely.
All right, Coach.
Coach.
All right.
Coach Dennis Skains of Cecilia. And when we had him on the show last year, the week that they played Opelousas for the district championship, not the state championship, district championship, right after the show, he contacted me and he got us some shirts, baby. Got us some shirts, boy. Cecilia shirts. And then when I say shirts, I mean shirts for all three of us, plural, more than one. He did that, man, for us, man. So we so thankful for him, man. And VK's known him for a good long time. But proud of the job he's done at Cecilia, and they got their first championship in 28 years, I believe, VK? Yeah, 28 years.
This is 95.
95. So
29 years.
29 years, man. VK, I'll let you go first. Your thoughts about Coach Skains and the Cecilia Bulldogs and the job they did in the Superdome for the state championship.
It's funny, like we mentioned, the first win since 95, and the last time when they won it in 95, they beat the Edna Carr Cougars at the time, and those two was involved in two classic games. Like Cecilia and Carr faced each other in 93, and Carr wound up winning by a field goal to win their first state championship. And that was heartbreaking for Cecilia. And all of a sudden, a couple years later, the ultimate payback, Cecilia wound up getting a field goal at the end to take down Edna Carr's chances of winning 2 out of 3 years. So, but it was a long time coming for Cecilia. And, there were years Cecilia made it to the quarters. And I don't know if they might have been some years they made it to semis, but couldn't crack the code. But for them to get there last year, but get there again under Dennis Skains has been amazing in itself. And Jared was he was like, when he contacted Coach Skains, and all of a sudden he found out, oh, Coach Skains? I was like, yeah. And even George
from last year.
Yeah, George was like, and he was like, George, like, yeah, we know him. We remember from the Bell Chase days. So it kind of pieced together with that. and also the Matherns and also coach uh
Heck no.
no Becknell, yes, but I'm talking about who left Cecilia
Clint
was also
Harrison.
Clint Harrison. He was
Mhm.
on the staff last year. And I
Mhm.
think it's amazing for them to still just continue and handle business even without him. And it's a great, probably the best coaching jobs we've seen all year long, especially for Coach Skains to get them back up again, to have the experience and just push forward. And sometimes good teams have breaks, which they did, but at the same time, for them to finish that job and to get it done, I'm very, very happy for Coach Gaines. I know there was another reason I was kind of a little bitter, but I put that behind me. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
we'll get to
saying?
that in a little bit.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We'll tell you why. But regardless of the fact, I'm like, if I take anything else, like I might as well, because I would be in happenstance, especially for this man here who really has worked hard, has a family and everything else,
Mhm.
and for him to be in this high level. And to me, if you know people that long, that's a sign of relationships
Yeah.
more than anything else. That's the thing with me and anybody that when you develop a relationship, and Jared is learning a lot about it now more than anything else. He's been learning, he's getting much, much better. That, if you have relationships with administration and coaches all over the state, man, you gonna be well taken care of regardless. Because some, they need anything from it, they'll help you out within a heartbeat. Or not just that, they'll tell you something that does not need to be on air, but at the same time, they open up. They're transparent, and that's what I love about being in this business more than anything else. But for Skanes, man, the crowd was awesome. The crowd was awesome on Friday for Cecilia and Franklinton, and for that, I mean, for that Cecilia crowd to just go completely nuts, especially when they had got that replay call and everything else. It just was sinking into that crowd and that sideline that, hey, we about to go home champions. And that is a great, great feeling.
George Peppers.
The first impression I'm going to take away from that ball game, Cecilia proved one thing, that 18 was a gross underseeding because two of the three losses came to a state champion in Central and a 5A program in St. Augustine. PowerPoints wise, I thought they were better than 18. But, our system is good at what it does. It got it right for the most part. But Cecilia did not look like an 18th seed when they got to the playoffs. When you looked at them, when we looked at the bracket when it came out, I think between the three of us, we were like, that's a dangerous football team and they have a doable bracket, especially when they had to go to Lutcher in round two. And they played their tempo of game and dropped 47, 48 points on Lutcher in round two, then went to North DeSoto the week after and dropped a bunch on them, and then routed Plaquemine. Cecilia was an impressive football team Friday night. And they were one of the best teams in these playoffs, regardless of class, because of what they had to get through to get to the Superdome and finish it off against the Franklinton team that was very good all year long, and they were able to win these kind of games. Games that were last possession, close, that they needed something. They always found a way. And I was standing with you guys. I was standing with VK when Franklinton was on the drive, and they were mastering the play clock. They were doing an impressive job. Out patterns, get out of bounds. I told VK, I said, if they keep on, they're going to leave. They're going to score. I thought they were going to win in. When they got to the 23, I think it's where the fumble happened on the next play. But before that play, I told VK, I said, man, look, looks like the demons may pull this thing out, because they were moving the ball. It seemed effortless with Jacob Crane just masterminding that drive and finding the right guys and Cy Austin doing some things. But Cecilia stood tall when they needed to. It took an overturn, but it was a legit overturn. After watching it back a couple of times, it was the right call. And are there people that are sour? I have not seen anybody really say anything. You check the group, the chat boards of other sites and all. But Cecilia was impressive. And Dennis Skains, yeah, we know him from the bouncing stage. Outstanding young coach. Where does he go from here, though? because now he's got a transitional team next year. He loses big impact in Diesel Solari. Now, the other quarterback that he mentions, we don't know what kind of a player he is, but we're going to see next year. That's for next year. But Cecilia is still going to be a formidable team. Why? Because they have the right leader and the right person to be in charge there, and that is Dennis Skains. They're in good hands regardless of what the on-field product looks like.
All right. I don't know what happened to my computer. It zoomed in some
Oh,
type of way. No, we good. It zoomed in some type of way. I see all of y'all, but the other stuff I need to get to, I can't get to it. Okay,
okay.
we're gonna make it work. I promise you. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. Like all my commercials are to the left of the screen, and I really can't see them. But I'm just gonna be clicking to get it going. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I don't know what happened, VK. And yeah, I don't know. It just zoomed in, and I can't get it back. I even went to my settings, zoomed in, zoomed out. None of that's working. But when we come back, we're gonna talk about the state championship games, and before that, we'll tell you who won the picks right here on the Hash It Out Show.
Green Law Firm is a full-service law firm specializing in personal injury, criminal law, successions, and family law. With over 25 years of experience, the Green Law Firm continues to provide efficient, competitive, and effective representation to clients throughout the state of Louisiana and all across the nation. Consultations are free. If you're looking for results, call the Green Law Firm at 504-328-3990. That's 504-328-3990, located at 931 Westwood Drive, Suite B in Marrero, Louisiana. The Green Law Firm.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
All right. Now, welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by VK Jones and George Peppers. And I was about to swing this to George Peppers so he could talk about who won the picks, but I don't know what George Peppers is.
He just disappeared like that.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
All right. There he is. All right.
All
George
right.
Peppers, go ahead with the picks. The final playoff picks. Who won?
You see this, Miss VK? You see this? All right. I'm going to give him his shade. I'm going to give it to him. So, because Catholic of New Iberia eked out the win over Dunham, that resulted in the CEO of the Hash It Out Show winning the picks by one win over myself and VK, who shared second place. So there you go. And congratulations. Yeah,
And
raise that one. Like that video I showed you earlier with the baby, the Roman Reigns video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
But-
also because not just because of the Academy
And Franklinton would have got you a tie.
exactly.
If Franklinton would have pulled that game out, yeah, VK would have tied you, Jared, but they didn't. And, it was a competitive playoff run. The goal, I had said to you guys when we started the picks this year, the goal that I wanted for all of us, ain't no recount, Kenny. The goal I wanted for us was to be better than last year because cumulatively we were 4-20 last year. 4-20. Only one. Remember, I had 2 wins. You had that's right. No, I had 2 wins because I won the playoffs.
He
We
had
both
2
had 2 wins in the
last year.
finals. Right. So we were
I had
5
1
and
5. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I said we needed to be better. So 6-2, 5-3, 5-3. That's 11. 16 and 8 for the playoffs between the 3 of us. That screams louder than what we did last year.
Yeah.
That screams louder to what we did last year. And we were able to be better. And that's what I wanted. You know what I want for 2025? For all of us to go 8-0. Is it possible? You never know.
It's possible.
You never
but it ain't
know.
easy.
I mean, no, it's not, because there may be one game or two that we could disagree on next year. But this weekend, I will say, was one of the most memorable ones that we've had. It was fun. It was outstanding. and there were a lot of highlights. There was no lowlights, none. I mean, if you
Check
want to
this
say
out.
Saturday, huh?
So check this out. Check this out right quick.
Talk to me.
Let me tell them how I won this. I beat them both on a Friday. I had to beat George for the Catholic New Iberia and Dunham
And
game.
Dunham.
Yeah, he had Dunham. I beat him. So that left me and VK, and all VK could do is tie me. So he went with Franklinton. I beat him too. And that was it. I won it on Friday. Didn't matter what happened on Saturday. I
What?
won. Bam.
And he won by the skin of his teeth.
Oh,
Now,
here you
Thank
go.
you.
he
Here you
won by
go.
the
Thank
skin
you.
of his teeth. All I'm gonna tell you is
Here you
this.
go.
All I'm gonna tell you,
Oh,
like George was heartbroken. So he was heartbroken in the game before. The last one. All I'm gonna tell you was this, ladies and gentlemen. I was this close.
and I
And
wasn't.
now, I'm not saying you wasn't. We both was that close.
George was
Let's
Yes,
close
be
we
too.
were.
honest.
The
We
pick
were
six
both that
ended
close.
George. The pick
Pick six.
six.
The pick six ended George. Actually, the interception, the end zone ended. The interception,
It
That's what I
did.
meant.
That
I'm
was the
sorry,
play of the
interception
week.
end zone. Correct.
yeah,
That
that
was the
was
play
it.
of the weekend, though.
But then all of a sudden, in the second game, and here comes Franklinton trying to run clock, and then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, they fumbled the ball. They had to go to replay to get a clearance on it, and Cecilia gets it. Cecilia comes down. Then I think it came down on fourth down. Diesel Solari throws in the end zone. The DB for Franklinton, right there in the thicket, right there. All he has to do is knock it down. He tipped it, and the receiver caught it for the game winner. I was just floored. Like, what in the world? Like, if he knocks it down simply, possibly it might be the ball game. But he didn't. And what a break for Cecilia. And then Franklin had another chance with a great 2-minute drill. The way it was looking, it looked really good. And I wish another team would have did that. But at the same time, it was a really good 2-minute drill until that play happened. And Jacob Crane fumbled it again, came down to a replay, and overturned that again. So that is like unbelievable in itself. That's almost like your heart just went in your throat. That's
Mhm.
what my thought on Friday was. That's why I was a little salty Friday night because I was like, what in the world? Like, I'm just this. It's like when you put some money on something and you're this close to getting it done, and then all of a sudden, like that, gone. Like, all I know, I had one of those kind of things on one little bet this year, and I could have got a nice bit of change. One player had to score a touchdown for me and didn't do it. So I felt that way that Friday. So I was like, oh my God. So regardless of the fact, I think Coach Shaw and them will be back. I think they're gonna have a really good team again next year. But for Coach Dennis Skains, congrats, my man. And at the same time, congrats, Mr. Boyd, on being regular season and playoff champion.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Now,
before
since
you
we're
go,
making
before you go,
excuses, JB.
before you go, before you go, before you go,
Okay.
I just want to say one thing to both of y'all. Defense wins championships.
To your
Interception
point.
and a fumble recovery. Go ahead, George.
To your point on the interception in the Catholic New Iberia Dunham game. First of all, kick the field goal. That was, to me, I thought that was an overkill. I think it was an overshot of we're going for the win. No, I think you had all the momentum. All you got to do is get the 20-yarder and get it. But on that play, watch it back. The defender, and Emmanuel pointed it out to me after we got home. The defender that got the interception came off coverage of another receiver and made a break to the ball to get the interception. That, to me, obviously, of the 8 games, was the play of the weekend. Because if he doesn't get there, that's a touchdown, and Dunham wins that game, and yours truly wins the picks.
Now,
Oh,
now,
Lord.
Go ahead,
now,
Go
VK.
ahead, VK.
now, one of the comments I've seen is like, "Get it right." Ellis tipped it. I get it, Julian, But
I
if
don't.
he knocks the ball down like he's
He
supposed to,
misplayed it, VK.
he
The
misplayed it.
defender misplayed it. He was out
That's
of
what I'm
position.
saying. I don't know if he was out of position. If you look at the replay again,
Nah,
the
it was
hands,
good coverage. Your
it
boy
was good
jumped over
coverage.
him, and he
Ellis
the
Stewart, you
defender
talking about the
tipped it,
receiver.
and then your boy got it.
Exactly.
It
Yeah,
was
Ellis,
great
you talking about
coverage.
the
It
receiver,
was
Ellis
good
Stewart.
coverage. Exactly. It was good. He caught it. It was great concentration by the receiver, but at the same time, the DB tipped it instead of knocking it down. You gotta knock the ball down. No tipping. You tip it, that's a chance. I don't know if you looked at the
That's a bad
Bears.
gamble.
I don't know if you looked at the Chicago Bears and Redskins
Washington
game. That's
Commanders,
how that
VK.
happened. Exact Commanders. Thank you, Commanders. That's how that happened. You can't tip.
Well, Julian's telling y'all right now, it wasn't. He didn't. The defender didn't tip it.
Defending never
I
touched
thought he
it.
tipped it.
He tipped it.
I'll look at it
Yes,
again.
he did.
And Julian, if we're wrong,
We on the
we'll
We'll
side
admit
admit
it.
now.
it.
Trust me, yeah, we'll admit it.
We'll
I
admit it.
thought he tipped it, and your boy didn't got it, but he's saying it didn't
Well, we were
happen.
on the Sicilian. We were on the Sicilian side, but we had a good angle on it, and it
But
sure looked
we saw
like,
the replay many times from the camera on the
yeah,
other side, so we could be wrong though. Kenny likes to call for going forward, get Haven on the edge. Um, that's a hard angle for a kicker. He's been on
20
all year
yards.
last season. Well, I understand what Kenny is saying, but I'll take a
Kind
kicker.
of, but 20.
They said in the press conference, Kenny, it was actually run first, and if the run wasn't there, throw it to the receiver. That's exactly what they said in the press conference. They wanted him to run, get the touchdown first. If that wasn't there, throw it to the receiver. All right, guys, let's get started on the recap.
Let's.
Let's get going. Let's start with Division 4 non-select South Platte and Haynesville. And tomorrow at 7:20, Coach Lyle Feet will be joining us. Let's talk about this. I'll go first. I was very, very impressed with the South Plaquemines Hurricanes. I was impressed with the play calling on offense, and I was very impressed with their defense. They were stopping any and everything. Haynesville couldn't move the ball, and third and long, you already knew Haynesville was not getting the first down because they couldn't pass the ball. VK.
Man, I was very. This has been a true second half team in this playoffs, man. I mean, the schedules really had them battle tested more than anything else. And you look at the last three opponents, uh, Mangum, Logansport, and I said it right, George.
I know you did. I just
Thank
like
you.
how carefully you pronounced it.
Yeah, I was about to get got tonight.
I know.
Logansport and now Haynesville, for them to step up against three recent resume big time playoff teams, that's huge. And not just that, for Coach Lafitte and that coaching staff, making the adjustments that they had to make. You look at what happened in the quarterfinals, how South Plaquemines exploded in the third quarter on all aspects to get the win. In the semifinals, for that defense to not get anything easy for Logansport, to just kept them in striking distance, and for Rod Parker to take charge of the offense to make the huge play to get them the huge win. And now in the championship, they're down 1 point. For them to come out and did the same thing a little bit like they did in the quarterfinals, everything on all cylinders, making plays on offense, defense, special teams. That's what they needed. That's the big time combination there. And that is huge as South Plaquemines for the first time since 2008 state champions. And for Lyle Feet, I can say it and I'm going to say it right now. Now, I already told it to him personally. You are legend in Plaquemines Parish now. You are
Been legend.
legend.
He been legend. He's
I
king.
know, but
He's
but but
king
I I,
now.
I
He's
I know.
king.
Well, okay, okay. I'm gonna let you have that. I'm gonna let you have it, Jared. You're right. You took it to another level. I was saying legend, really legend, because the fact matter is, you already got 2 rings as a player. You got more than anybody else in that area. But to be having 2 rings, now you have 3 total rings, 2 as a player, and now as a head coach. That just screams you the man. You the man. They can't tell you anything. You can't pay. You don't have to pay for another meal ever in that area. And they have no choice but to respect you from now on, because Lyle Feet took a whole lot, especially as 10 years a head coach at South Plaquemines, and he now completely understands what Cyril Crutchfield and the other past coaches went through over in that area. So
Let's get
for him
GP
to
in
get
here.
it done, that's real huge. Go ahead, George.
All right. You know when I knew South Plaquemines was a winner in that game? Halftime, when it was 7-6. I knew. And I told you, Jared, I said, this tempo, the way this game is being played, I thought if the Hurricane, if Roderick Parker could manage a drive or two where they could put points on the board and get in front of Haynesville, I told you, I said, this thing is close to done. All they needed to do was get in front because Haynesville was having trouble with that end speed of South Plaquemines defense. They were just discombobulated the whole day. They never had any real consistency, no real flow to their drives. It just felt, I don't want to say sloppily played, but I just think it was more of a product of South Plaquemines' speed
Yes,
overwhelming those guys at the point of attack.
that's exactly what it
And I
was.
turned to you when it was 13-7. I said, if they score again, it's good. And I remember when they got 20-7, we were near Lyle Feet. I don't know if you were right next to me at that point, but Coach Feet was right by, when he did the ring up, I was standing like about maybe a yard or two to his right, to his left. And he's like, ring me up, ring me up. I was like, man, look, the raw emotion. And one of the coaches from South Plaquemines gave us a big shout out to me. He gave me he bear hugged me. I don't know which coach it was. It wasn't Feet. It was one of the assistants. He gave me a bear hug and he goes, man, thank y'all, bro, for what y'all do. Thank y'all for supporting us, us as the Hash It Out show. I was like, man, it's our pleasure. This is what high school football is all about to us. Watching moments like this and seeing that raw emotion was beautiful to watch. It was awesome. And, Haynesville had a heck of a season and, and whatnot. And Kenny just texted me. I'll reveal that in a little bit. I'm sorry. But South Blackman I'll say this, the second best defensive effort of the weekend.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
think
agree.
I
I
think
agree
you
with
know who
that.
number one was. We'll get to
And we'll
them in
get
a
to
little
that
while.
later. Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
moving on. Division four select Vermilion Catholic versus Washington Christian, and Jonathan Dartez, the quarterback for Vermilion Catholic, is everything that they have said
Hmm.
he is. And man, shots out to him. But I tell you what though, Washington Christian was making a comeback, and then pick six, Vermilion Catholic takes it to the house, and they get the win. Quickly, VK, your thoughts on that game? Well, you weren't there, VK, but you might know something about it. Go ahead.
I watched it. I caught up and watched it. I wish, like I said, I missed those moments Thursday because I had to coach a basketball game. But regardless of the fact, um, Vermilion Catholic, Jonathan Dartez, I said it was going to be a little bit too much, but credit Washington Christian. I mean, they really stayed in this ball game. They really had some chances at the end, but that defense came up big, and I think Vermilion really, really wanted this thing. They really wanted the state championship really, really bad. It's been a while, and for them to just, really go in and handle business what they did, they they really deserve to win that championship. Washington Christian will be back. They have a ton returning next year because this was probably one of their youngest teams this season, and for them to get back to the state title game despite the team, because a lot of people said this was a transition year, but for them to get back to the dome sooner than they did, they're one of them teams that are going to be really looked out for next season.
George.
I'll say this: Luke Vidrine doesn't have the makeup of a quarterback when he made all the throws for Washington Christian on Friday. 5'9", 155. That's his height and weight. He doesn't look like the prototypical quarterback, obviously not, but that young man made some smart decisions, kept that team in the game. And John Dartez, for me, out of the eight games that we saw, was the best player I saw this weekend. His impact was unmistakable. Broke a state championship record with 47 carries, 228 yards, and I think 3 touchdowns. Um, but still, the Eagles had a shot to win it late. I remember standing right next to you, JB, in that end at the back end, and we're like, "Oh boy!" And we're thinking about our picks. And I turned to you guys, said, "Look at this. They're going to get us late. We're gonna get a pinball at the end." But Caleb Gadrick came up big with an 83-yard pick six, and finished it. But for me and Catholic, deserving champions, best team in that class all year long. But they had to survive a very gritty and resilient Washington Christian team to get it done. Congratulations.
I'll tell you who I thought was the best player later on. St. James and Sterlington, Division Three non-select, and I'm just gonna say it like this: St. James could not stop the
That
the
V.
um the veer, but when they pitched it to the pitch man, that was the main killer. They couldn't stop that at all. It's just
Mm-mm.
assignment defense. Somebody got the dive man, somebody got the quarterback, somebody got the pitch man. And two people kept going towards the quarterback. Yep, pitch it off. They go to long runs. They couldn't stop it. Also, I felt like they didn't get number 4, Jacaias Villanueva, involved in the second half enough. I don't think he got enough touches in the second half. But to me, it was the defense not stopping that. That's was St. James' failure, unfortunately, VK.
I totally get what you're saying about Villanueva, but I gotta disagree. Get a lot of credit to Larry Doty. We've seen some couple carries, and it was hard for Villanueva to get anything. They made huge adjustments in the second half. They was not letting Villanueva get the lanes that they wanted to get it early in the first half, because they would remember in the first half Villanueva moved the ball very, very well, and also they mixed it up with Kanaki and Young. But at the same time, in the second half, a lot of big adjustments defensively to make sure that the running lanes were there and everything else and all that. And they made it almost a one-dimensional type of offense. Because Kanai King Young was running pretty well in the second half until he got that one time he got hurt and got hurt like temporarily. But that shook him up so much that he couldn't hardly do too much anymore. So, it was just the fact the adjustments that the defense made for Sterlington was one thing. But then the last couple of minutes of the game, and I hate to point this out, I think some of the plays, I gotta tell you, was like I think they put a little too much pressure on the quarterback. But then on top of that, the last 2 minutes was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, running the ball with him, no, no, no. You're 92 yards away. Got to get it down the field. Got to matriculate. Got to really try to get down to get close. And I think special teams came up big for Sterlington as well. They really came up big, especially that punt, getting them, pinning them deep right there to the 8-yard line and everything. So, at the same time, Sterlington made the huge plays in the second half, and they got the job. And you're right. And the one thing you're right, the biggest thing you're right on, Jared, the pitch man. You're absolutely right. I tell you, man, a lot of times, and you got to give the offensive credit too. They kept going 3, 4 to 6 yards a pop, but especially on the option on the outside, pitching into the pitch man. Yeah, that pitch man was wide open. So that's an adjustment that should have been made there. There were opportunities for St. James, but at the same time, the Wildcats is definitely gonna be back next year. They
Without a doubt.
got so many coming back. Not too many seniors.
They're only
Very
losing
few.
2 seniors. 2 seniors they're losing.
Two seniors, and I think a very few juniors.
They'll be
This is
back.
this team is full of freshmen and sophomores
Yeah.
stepping up already. So
Yeah.
the youngest St. James team I probably ever seen being in the dome. I think Levanta Davis is gonna get him a state championship, and it could be next year.
Let's get George in here, GP.
There's a state title with his name on it. Let's just say that to start, okay? Lavonte
Yeah, he gotta
Davis is
get that
going to
monkey
win a
off his
state
back
title.
now. Yeah, that
But,
monkey on his back. I know he's sick right now. 2 losses, 2 straight
mhm,
years. Yeah, he gotta get that monkey off his back. And once he gets
it's
that
it's
monkey off his
happening.
back, he gonna feel so much better.
It's going to happen.
Hmm.
With that immense talent coming back, but watching that game, Jared, you and I were on the St. James side, and we were like, it's simple, assignment football, and they didn't perform it. Got to read the quarterback, read the pitch, put guys on, and the pitch man was just. I bet he was salivating when he got to the outside. And St. James has quickness on the outside, but with that offense, you got to be on point, and they weren't. And VK goes to the play calling. He's right. There wasn't really a lot of urgency late in that game. It's like let your quarterback go, turn him loose. You've done it all year long, and here you are in the state championship. Yes, he's a freshman. Yes, he's 14, but he's already embraced moments. He needed to against Union Parish down 3 scores in the semifinal, so you already know he can make a move. And yeah, it was 92 yards away, but I didn't see the urgency and the tempo needed to make a comeback. But before they got the punt, before Sterlington punted it back, Jared, I turned to you and I made the same proclamation I did last year. I got it right last year, didn't get it right this year. I thought that St. James was going to get the ball. Didn't know that they were going to get backed up. This was before the punt. I turned to you. I said, if they get a good spot, they're going to drive it down and go for two and do what Union Parish did to them last year and get the win. But ball gets to the 8-yard line. And as VK mentioned astutely, correctly, the urgency in the play calling comes into question. I felt like, why run the ball in a couple of those situations? Like, let your guy, let your quarterback go. Turn him loose. You got speed on the perimeter. Turn him loose. But Sterlington, Larry Doty, one of the best coaching jobs all weekend. That second half defense was incredibly good. The first half, they were going they were matching score for score for score for score. And when Sterlington got in front, I thought, okay, maybe, St. James could equalize and we have us a barn burner. We had a great game, but the Coach Doty and his defense, big ups to y'all. Outstanding defensive effort in the second half to really squash them late. But I think it's safe to say, from the three of us, that St. James team is going to find their way back to the Superdome.
Yeah, most definitely. They're gonna be back. I don't see how they can't get back next year. I think they will, and they'll be more of a veteran group next year. And
Mm-hmm.
look out, for real. All right,
They were
Division Three.
puppies this year.
Hmm.
They were puppies this year. They'll be dogs next year.
Yeah, that's right. Division
Mm-hmm.
Three select Dunham versus Calic of New Iberia. Dunham is down 17 going to the fourth quarter, and then they have the ball trying to either tie or win it. They drive down the field, and it's 4th and goal. And Karan Eugene of Calic of New Iberia gets the interception, seals the win for Calic of New Iberia. But we're going to go back to the first half where a touchdown for Dunham on a Hail Mary. That was that instant
Worst missed
replay
call of
looked
the
at.
weekend.
Oh, it was the worst call of the weekend. Instant
Mm-hmm.
replay looked at it, and you could tell the receiver caught the ball, had a foot in bounds, and they still said it wasn't a catch. I don't know. I was lost on that one. That was the worst call of the weekend because it was clearly a touchdown. But we're not taking away from nothing. We're not taking anything away from Calico New Iberia because that's not their fault. Period. They got nothing to do with that. That's an official mistake. But Dunham had a chance to still win the game, and Karan Eugene gets his 8th interception of the year and seals the deal for Calic New Iberia. What a great game that was. Dunham almost with the comeback of winning. VK, your thoughts?
I think right there with that controversy right there, I think the karma was coming on the next game then, the way it was looking. You don't get that call, and all of a sudden, okay, let's try to overturn it in the next game. Sometimes conspiracies happen like that. But regardless of the fact, I think this was a really good game. Dunham, and I give a lot of credit again to Elijah Haven. He did not let his team die. You gotta love athletes like that. Don't let their team go away. Don't let their team give up. Gotta really love that. Calic New Iberia. They got it done at the end. And I kind of questioned thing with Calic. I'm like, I didn't understand. Like at a time where they were still
They
up
got they
10.
got so conservative in that fourth quarter, like they already won the game. They got way too conservative.
No, they got a little more aggressive than we thought.
No, they
Because
didn't.
they was throwing the ball in 3 minutes and they're up 7.
Oh, okay. So hold on,
Now you see what I'm talking about.
Wait. With 3 minutes left to go they were throwing. Yes, they were. Yes,
Yes.
they were. That part there. You know why? Because now all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, we got to get first downs, man. We've been too conservative. Most
I
of the fourth quarter.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah,
There were times that they had to be aggressive. The defense was still really taking care of things. There are times they really should have put the ball game away the way they're supposed to.
there we
But
go.
but
Yeah,
the
they let
defense,
they float the gas
but
a little
yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Yeah,
The defense was really taking care of things until start of the fourth quarter. Here comes Dunham scoring a touchdown. So right then and there, they should have just Coach should have known right then and there. Coach DeSomo could have been like, "Hey, let's go put this away now." They didn't cut it. They didn't cut it down. Defense been holding it down. Defense getting tired. We need to go put it away. So all of a sudden, with 3 minutes to go, I was nervous a bit because, okay, you're still up. Now, a time that you could have been aggressive, now you're being aggressive. Like, no, that don't make sense. You got to play keep away now. You got to play keep away now. And it gave Dunham an opportunity. And Dunham was just this close. But for Catholic of New Iberia, I know they are thankful that they got the turnover at the end and got it done.
Let's also remember, um, Dunham hopped out to a 14-0 lead, I believe. They hopped out to a
14-3.
14-0
They,
lead.
they had
And
their best start in
yeah,
the playoffs so far this year. The best start. Because every game they played has been bad starts. And when that happened, I was like, this could be trouble for me and Jerry. I like, this could be trouble. 'Cause I was like, bro, Dunham is off to a great start. But for New Iberia to come back, settle down, and took a 17-point lead, I thought, oh man, that's it. They just
look,
need one more and that's it.
Jeffrey Mitchell. When me and George walked on Catholic New Iberia's side, um, he called us and he's like, "I'm Jeffrey Mitchell," and I was like, "Oh, you that troublemaker, a grown adult, boy. We thought that was a kid. Oh, you the troublemaker in this chat." But he sat there and told me and George, "We about to come back. We about to come back," and that they did. George Peppers.
When Dunham got out to the 14-3 lead, I was counting the W because, as VK points out again correctly, said Dunham had miserable starts in these playoffs. The last two games with Lafayette Christian and Bunkie were down 30-7 to Lafayette Christian, 16 zip to Bunkie. But they rallied back and handled business in the Bunkie game. They stole the one against LC. And I thought when they got out 14-3, this was all Dunham. I thought, oh boy, I'm about to win this championship again. But then Catholic of New Iberia, Matt DeSomo, to his credit, kept his team in the fight. They got to a 31-14 lead, but I kept thinking Dunham's got another run in them because they've been that way in the second half, of games in the playoffs. They've been that way. They've been able to move the ball with fluidity and get scores. When it was 31-28, and they got the ball back on a block punt. I thought, yep, it's
At
my
the end,
time.
it was a block punt.
Yeah,
That's
right at
right.
the end. Right at the end. But Karan Eugene, like I said, to me, the play of the weekend of all 8 games. Why? If you watch that play back, guys, go look at it again. Go look at Karan Eugene. That wasn't his receiver. He was on somebody else. And when he saw the ball, he broke to the receiver and got the ball. That's the play of the weekend. It felt like, and I go back to 1983, Ken Calhoun, Miami, Nebraska, the Orange Bowl, when Miami upset him. He had the same route. He was on another receiver and he dove towards the guy that Turner Gill was throwing the ball to, and he tipped it. But this time, Eugene picked it. And you know what? Hey, big ups to Catholic and New Iberia to win that game, to hold on
Yeah.
really at the end, because Dunham, for all the worth, I thought they were winning that game, even at 31-28. And I saw in the chat where they mentioned about onside kicking at 8 minutes to go. First of all, if you're Catholic and New Iberia, that was unexpected. Dunham, in theory, should have kicked it away. Both teams still had the allotment of their timeouts. It was a 10-point game, and Dunham had momentum. They just stole a possession, and they got it, and they were able to get it to 3. And Neil Weiner, I wonder if he's got the same, I don't want to say curse VK, but his dad, Dale, it took him a minute to win a state championship at Catholic. It's taken Neil a little minute to win a state title now. 2 times in the last 3 years, he's gotten to the final. Both times, a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
He'll be back.
Did not get it done.
He'll be
But
back.
Catholic and Area, big ups.
Yeah. Neil Weiner will be back with Dunham, especially
He
working with
will.
Elijah Haven. All right,
Yep. He'll
guys.
be
Franklinton and Cecilia, I think we all are in agreement. This was the best game of the whole championship week. Everybody watching, hit those follows, hit the subscribe buttons, hit the like buttons, all that good stuff. Hit the share buttons. Tell a family member, tell a friend. I think we can agree this was the best game this whole weekend. But man, back and forth action. Like George says, we had touchdowns galore in the first half, back and
six.
forth.
Six
Um,
touchdowns in a row.
yeah, Franklinton going for 2 and all that. look back at it, maybe you don't go for it and you kick extra points, you might. But hey, I ain't the coach. But to get to that fourth quarter, man, and Diesel throws that ball up to that receiver, and he's able to get that pass, touchdown. And Franklinton to drive right back down the field, and then the quarterback fumbles, goes to instant replay, and instant replay decided a state championship game. Like I told you guys on 106.1 the ticket in Crescent City Sports in between the two Saturday games. I said we are in the era of instant replay. And if you're in an arena that has the technology of instant replay, it will be used. It is what it is. Plain and simple. And that's what it was. And Cecilia walks out state champs. Start with you, VK. Quickly.
Well, I'm the only guy on this panel that's going to say that's not the game of the weekend, and I'm sorry. I think the second game was the game of the weekend because I think
You
the
don't think
fact of the
South
matter is,
Plaquemines and Haynesville was the game of the weekend?
No,
no.
New Iberia and Dunham.
Cali and
I
Dunham?
I think Cadley, Norbury, and Dunham was because how thrilling it was and everything in the ending. I I would love to give Cecilia and Franklinton that, but I can't because anything that comes down to a call that kind of takes away. It kind of takes away it. You know what I'm saying? It takes it away a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying the right call was made, but at the same time, coming down to a call, that kind of takes things away from what a great game it was. It really is. That's just to me because I like how it ended, and to me, like I think New Iberia Dunham was really good because of the thrills. I really thought the next game we'll talk about, Shaw E.D. White was better than his last game
Okay.
because of the storylines and not just that of the certain moments in the ball game. But don't get me wrong, it was a great ball game. It really was between Cecilia and Franklinton. It was amazing how both of these teams slowed down after we thought the over was going to be over 48 points. I thought it was going to be over 48 to half, but all of a sudden we seen things slow down. We knew things was going to be critical there, but at the same time, the heartbreak for Franklinton, but the thrill for Cecilia, and I give them the credit. They wanted this thing so bad. They
George.
wanted this thing so bad.
It was a great game. Is it the game of the weekend? Arguably, yes. I think it was. Just because of the ebbs and flows and everything that went back and forth. I mean, you had everything in that game. The high theater drama, and everything else, and the unknown. The assumption that Franklinton was going to get a touchdown on their last drive because they moved the ball so cleanly and effortlessly, using the sideline, masterminding this drive, and then of course the inevitable, the unthinkable, the fumble that Jacob Crane committed, which was Franklinton's fourth turnover of the night. And that was the difference in the game. The fact that Cecilia won the turnover battle, that's what won him the ball game. And Diesel Solari making impactful plays, not knowing that, of course, Skains said earlier that he tweaked his ankle early in that game.
I knew
And
about
I
the
didn't,
flu though. I knew about that.
well, the flu, yeah, but I mean, as far as
I
the
was told
ankle, I
that
was
on
like,
Wednesday.
I didn't know about the ankle because it didn't look like he was really favoring it. Yeah, he got dinged up a little bit, but I had thought he got the wind knocked out of him in that one play in the third quarter. When he got hit, when he got popped. And I thought it was one of those. You know, he got popped, and I thought it was a wind knockout, but it turned out to be an ankle. And you know what? Shows you the guts that he showed. But how about the redemption story for Cecilia after last year,
Yep.
getting out physical against Opelousas? And Jared, you and I called that game with Emmanuel Peppers last year for
Hmm.
CrescentCitySports.com. And the physical battle was won clearly by Opelousas. And when I asked Coach Gaines, what I was getting at was the difference in styles. Franklinton doesn't pound you into the ground. They move the ball. They are, and I don't want to say finesse. I think it's the worst term to use in football,
I
but
don't think they
they
were
are
finesse.
more.
I don't think they were
No,
there finesse.
no, I don't think so either. But I didn't want to intimate that is what I was trying to say. I didn't want to intimate that at all. I just felt like Franklinton brought a different type of style, type of tempo. That it was a different type of game than what Cecilia played last year, and you know That's the reason the two of us picked Cecilia. We thought offense, momentum, averaging north of 48 points in the playoffs. That's insane. That's insane. When deserving state title for Dennis Skains and Costanza Formaggio, outstanding effort by your group. There's nothing to hang your head about. You had a tough road to get here. Having to go through a district rematch in the quarterfinals against Lakeshore and surviving a 2-point conversion to win, and then Iowa blowing a 15-point lead, having to get overtime, and win that game. You had a heck of a road here. Just Cecilia was just a smidge better on the night, Jared.
All right, we're gonna move on to Division II Select. Shaw versus Edie White. Shaw gets their first state championship in football in 37 years. 37 years. Tell you what, great ball game between two good teams. Good teams. Edie White, man, they were physical as hell. Man, like every other player, had a Shaw player hurt. They were busting they behinds, man. Paya, paya, paya. They put that paya on them Shaw boys. I can't even lie, man. I was like, ooh. I saw Mason get hit one time, man. I was like, good God. Boy, they hit the boys left and right. All right. But what were the key moments for Shaw? Number one, the block field goal by Tristan Evans. That was the first thing that would have put them up 10-0. Edie White, if they would have made it. Tristan Evans blocks the field goal. Number two, the touchdown pass to Jacob Washington before the half. Hank Tierney said that Mason Wilson had called that play. Told him that if he fake pumps to Jasper on the out route, that's going to leave Jacob wide open. He said they would jump on Jasper, and that's what they did. Touchdown play right there. The long touchdown run by Jasper Parker. Long touchdown run, 62 yards. That was key. After that, the touchdown to Jacob Washington to go up 28-17, and then Jasper Parker on 3rd and 5. He got hit by any and everybody, but man, you had to take his soul to make it a 4th down, and he didn't. He was not going to be denied. Got the 1st down. Clock runs some more. Shaw Eagles state champs. VK.
Yes, and
Oh, and I forgot the fumble. The fumble by Edie White before the Jacob Washington touchdown to make it 20-17. Right after Jasper's touchdown, Edie White tossed the ball. He tossed it short, and Shaw recovered. That's another key play for Shaw. VK.
For Archbishop Shaw to do what they did, it was an amazing moment in time. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of alumni on the sideline for Shaw. Kendall Bussey, you see Mickey Joseph, Sharon Carey, whole bunch of alumni, and including yourself, Jared, waited for this moment. And for them to do it on that stage was amazing in itself. I mean, Edie White, they came to play, and they got a good quarterback, folks. A really good quarterback that can run and throw. So I tell you, man, Edie White is the type of team they are going to be back next year, especially with that quarterback and a couple of key players coming back. But at the same time, I think finally the Shaw offense finally came all the way together, using all their weaponry to get it done. Because it was hard for them to get uh Jasper going, Jasper Parker going, but at the same time, they used Jacob Washington very, very well, and Mason Wilson made some really good throws and everything else. And I really think, you talk about the one play with the DB from Catlin Number. That was a great play. But to me, I'm sorry, the play of the weekend is Jasper Parker with that run. That gave Shaw momentum the rest of the ball game. And I mean the momentum to really lift them. They took that lead because I tell you, there was the fact of the matter is with all the short dinks and dumps, Jared, you know what I'm saying? Just little by little, and eventually that defense for Edie White was going to get tired. And at the same time, and you said it, and a couple people, other people said it. Eventually, something's gonna pop for Jasper. And that run right there, and when he took it in, I was like, Edie White in trouble now. And then all of a sudden, the fumble, Shaw got it back, and I was like, oh, this trouble now for Edie White. So I really thought that was the play of the weekend right there. And Jasper Parker got that long run to give Shaw that lead. So for Shaw to continue to really work in there, Edie White didn't quit. Kyler Zane's team is amazing. And I think a state championship might be on the way to Edie White sooner than you think, but he's been really, really digging in. But for Shaw to do what they did in the last 4 minutes was amazing and was determined. And you gotta love Hank Tierney at the end, telling Jasper, "You want it, you want to finish," and he said, "Yeah, I'm giving it to you." And for the big dog to hunt and the big dog to eat, he ate all right, and he gave Shaw a state championship. Big ups to the Shaw Eagles, Hank Tierney, and the Shaw community. All I gotta tell you is this: there's gonna be hope for another team to crack through that door soon. Congratulations, Shaw.
Austin Tyler, I know exactly what he's talking about. The run before Jasper's touchdown, Mason, it was an option, speed option to the right, and Mason, I think, got a first down. He got close to a first down, but a defender for Edie White went straight at Jasper's knees and took him out, and they threw the personal foul flag. They do a flag for a personal foul, 15 yards on him for that. And then, like I said on Marlon Favorite show yesterday, they poked the wrong bear because next play, bing, Jasper Parker for a touchdown. GP.
First off, what a ball game and a
Yep.
lot of emotions, Shaw and Edie White. And yeah, VK's right. Edie White was very, very physical. You guys were both right. Very physical. And Kyle was seen, look, man, your team has no reason to hang their head. I know it's a tough way to lose a ball game. 3 points. The block field goal makes the difference, didn't it? Tristan Evans made the difference, in other words, in the margin of victory. Had he not blocked it, who knows? But again, that sequence in the fourth quarter where Jasper Parker popped off that 62-yarder, and then on the second play back, Edie White coughs it up, and Shaw got the separation. But I remember being on the sideline at the end of the half, and I turned to you, Jared. I was like, "Did he catch that?" When Washington caught the ball, I was like, because
Mm-hmm.
it looked like he juggled it. I was like, "Oh man, don't tell me he dropped it." And he got it, but it didn't. It wasn't the cleanest catch. He got it though. I think he was more surprised that he was that wide open. That's why I think he had the juggles on that play. I think it was more of a shock that it was wide open. But credit your quarterback, Mason Wilson, for having the confidence to run that play, knowing that they would key in on Jasper and cut Washington loose. So one Michigan guy gets doubled up, the other one gets wide open, and bam, touchdown. You know, but for Hank Tierney, what a ride, man. What a ride. And I remember at the beginning of the year, we all made our picks at the beginning of who we thought could win. And I was on Shaw from jump, from jump. And after Lafayette Christian, I told both of you, they're back. They are back because they had that struggle against Carr. They got whipped against Rumble and the megaphone. In between that was a sandwich win over West Jeff. That's not saying a lot because of how bad that program has been. But once they ripped Lafayette Christian to shreds, 30-7, that's when I knew. I said, and I told my brother, I told him, "Hey, I said, y'all back. Y'all gonna be fine the rest of the way." He goes, "I hope so." I said, "Dude, it looks like y'all got that swagger." Going on the road to Lafayette Christian, I think was a season turner because that team is difficult to play up there. It's a difficult matchup in that building. And then they ran through the playoffs. The way they did, and 2 goal line stands late, and then having to hold on late against Edie White. Deserved state championship, and to all the alumnuses of Shaw that I know, to you, Jared, to my brother, I'm delighted for y'all, and I know the pride that y'all felt after it was over. It was palpable to see. I could see it in your eyes, just the pride that you guys had for your school being on top of the throne. Deserve it, and very well done.
Um,
I think we
before
all
when they were doing 7-on-7s, I was saying Shaw going to the dome, and I was at 1707. And Hank come to me and said, "Hey, stop saying we're going to the dome." But I
He
think we're
told
gonna
you
be there.
that?
Yeah, he told me that. He said, "Stop saying that." But I think we're gonna be there too. And he started laughing.
Mhm.
Confidence, man.
I,
Yeah.
Confidence.
Go ahead,
I
VK, right quick.
I think we all said that Shaw was gonna win it all this year. I think we was really on it. The offense got together when it was time. It wasn't the 97 team that I thought it was gonna be like, but still, for them to still get over the hump to win it all, that's big for them. They've been a very resilient team. George was saying the Lafayette Christian game, and I understand where he's come from with that, but to me, I'm sorry. I said I want to see more. The Walker game got me. And knowing what Walker did this year, I said, bruh, for them to score 55 on a playoff team, like, wow. I was like, bruh, I told Jared this. I was like, George said left ears. No, y'all own it now. Y'all own it now. Because I was like, bruh, that was just an eye opener. Because, the Lafayette Christian game, that was a huge road win for them. It really was to get things going. But it was just one win. I said, a person like me, even if I'm a St. Aug alumnus, I want to see more. Give me more to give me a reason. And I think that right there gave me more than a reason Shaw was going to win the whole thing.
I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna move on to Division 1 now. Select. Yes, you say Walker, and I saw that Walker game, and I was like, "What Walker team is this?" That 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 Walker team against Shaw. I would really sit here and say West Jeff could have beat that Walker team that night. That's how bad that Walker team was against Shaw that night. And then you come back and you beat Dutchtown twice. You beat them in district and you beat them in the playoffs. I was sitting there like, did they not just show up against Shaw? Because I'm telling you, VK, if you'd have saw that game, I think you'd have been shocked too. Like, this was the quarterfinal team from last year, and they looked that bad against Shaw. I was shocked. So I would go more towards George in that instant. But then you think about why they beat Dutchtown twice. Maybe they had a bad game. Maybe they just didn't show up. I don't know. Because I expected so much more from Walker. But it is what it is.
Hmm.
You say Walker, I got a problem with it. I say LCA, so does George. So it's all good. Division 1 non-select. Yes, Kenny, what Josh Collins says. They lose everybody on offense except 2 linemen. That is correct. So yeah, we're gonna see about next year. Division 1 non-select Ruston versus Central of Baton Rouge. Second game ever in the Prep Classic with a running clock. Don't worry, the first game happened. The first running clock game happened before this game. We'll get to that in a minute. But there was a goose egg left on the scoreboard, 42-0. And I heard somebody from Ruston say, "Oh, they're just nervous," when they were down 14-0. I turned to this guy and I said, "Hold on, man. This y'all third straight year here. What you mean nervous? This is y'all third straight year. Y'all used to the lights in the dome and all that stuff. Y'all won last year. No, 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 no. I'm not trying to hear that. They just nervous. No, y'all third straight year. That senior class, they've been on that floor 3 straight years. The junior class, some of them freshmen, probably so. 3 straight years. No, no. They got whooped. That defense from Central was just magnificent. Their quarterback, who's going to Nichols, he was good. The 233 yards passing. Central just whooped Ruston a new one, VK. Plain and simple.
Jackson Furman was
Yep.
amazing. And I mean that whole Central team, I could not believe what I seen. To hold a team not just to 0 points, but 90 total yards. That right
Yeah.
now, like we'll talk about comparing things over the weekend, but that tops it. My God. It's just amazing what they done. But at the same time, this is another thing too. And Coach Ball said this in the press conference. He said, I gotta do better getting my team ready to play. We wasn't ready to play. And I think there was also a reason for that. I heard some multiple sources on this one. And this right here was like, whoa, wait a minute. This, not making no excuses, not taking none away from Central. But this right here, it's like, wait a minute. why y'all did that. Tell me from multiple sources, Rustin just left Monroe that Saturday morning to come to the game. Did not even make a move towards close to New Orleans or go to Baton Rouge or Gonzales or something to get close to here. They left from Monroe early Saturday morning to
Old
get
school.
down
That's
here.
DK Mays, number 47. I forgot. He's going to Houston. He's going to Houston.
Yes, DK Mays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, amazing game for him. But they left that morning to get that right there for a state championship on a Saturday. That's a no-no. You can't have people like that leave in the morning on a day. I could see if it was a playoff game on a Friday. I totally get it. But this is a championship on a Saturday afternoon. Why you couldn't get these kids? If you couldn't get no hotel in New Orleans, at least get somewhere in Baton Rouge or Gonzales, somewhere close. But to take a bus from Monroe early Saturday morning and legs are shot, and them like, oh my God, not really in game mode. It's not a good thing. But at the same time, for Baton Rouge Central, David Seminole, after all the controversy, all the stuff that went on, he basically said, put some respect on my name. Congratulations to Baton Rouge Central, their first state title. Congratulations for David Seminole. I think he has punched his ticket to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
I would say this before I let George go. I've seen many teams on a Friday leave at 8 o'clock and get to what I get to when they're going up north and win ball games. I'm not gonna make that excuse for Ruston. They left when they left. You on a business trip. You come down and win a ball game. That's it. And they lost. So I guess I'm different to how you feel, VK, and I understand how you feel. And then probably if I'm a coach, I would leave like for the championship. I'd probably leave Friday and get a hotel. I would definitely do it. So I can see how you look at it, but I'm just different to it at the fact to where y'all gonna play a game. You got to go out there and just play. It is what it is. And I really think for a lot of people that have said this, and I can see how they say it, that game with Destrehan, they really wanted that game. They really wanted that one.
That was another side of it too, because that was the other thing too. That was the one thing we also said. A lot of people in Crescent City Sports said that too. They put the eggs in that one game, but then all of a sudden, a day after the championship, I get some calls from people I know, and when they said that, that was another side of it, and I said, "Whoa." And it's like this is, and I feel what you're saying, Jared, but at the same, this is a different circumstance. This is the state championship.
I see it. I see your point.
That's all it
I'm
is.
not. I'm not
But
disagreeing
I
with you.
get,
I see your point.
but I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. Go ahead, George. Your turn.
Jared Ball said something very telling in the postgame that confirmed my suspicion. I need to do a better job getting my team ready. Translation: they laid all their eggs in the Destrehan basket and had nothing for Central. They had absolutely nothing for Central in that ball game. And the guy that told you that, the dude from Ruston talking about we nervous, we nervous. Nah, man, that's lies. That's 3 straight years in the dome. You lost to Destrehan 2 years ago. You won last year against Zachary.
Mm-hmm.
And then this game, we got pasted 42-0. Best defensive effort of the weekend was this game with Central. It was the most thorough, the most complete ball game. And this thing about the trip, I'm in the position that you leave Friday for a Saturday game, but that's not an excuse. I'm sorry, they weren't prepared to play and take nothing away from Central. And the young man from Central, Furman, was spectacular. And he outplayed Joshua Brantley. Do you know how many yards Joshua Brantley had passing? 30. 30. That's how great this Central defense was. And Brantley is a Division One level quarterback in most people's eyes. Are we in agreement on that? I mean, Joshua Brantley is a Division One level quarterback, and he could only muster 30 passing yards in 48 minutes against that Central defense. And that Central defense was the best defense this weekend of the 8 games. Um, and yeah, I'm seeing things. 2-5A didn't do too well against Central this year in the playoffs. Neville, then Ruston. And Alexandria didn't look good in the championship. We'll get to that in a minute. Um, but, David Semino, you tip of the hat to you, man. That was an outstanding job of preparation. It was the most complete effort of the weekend on every facet, even though they missed 2 field goals Central. That's the only blip I saw in that game. They missed 2 field goals. But we're going to see. We are going to see how Central comes back next year. Furman, I think, is a senior, or junior.
Oh, Furman gone.
Furman's gone.
He's
Furman
done.
gone.
So
He's going to Nichols. Going to Nichols.
What? Going to where?
Nichols.
Oh, okay. Good spot.
Yeah.
Good spot for him. New coaching staff over there. We'll see how that plays out. But congratulations to David Semino and Central. Outstanding defensive effort, 90 yards. That is a state championship record for defense. That is a state champion, and that record may not get broken. If it does, oof, we talking about another level of defense if that record goes down.
All right. Last one, Division One select, Edna Carr versus Alexandria. And this was the first game ever in the Prep Sugar Bowl Classic to have a running clock. This game right here. We had 2 of them in the highest classifications, and this was the first one. And man, don't you find it strange that you can throw 4 interceptions and still win 53-8? My goodness. There was nothing Alexandria could do. They couldn't do anything offensively, even though JT Lindsay had 115 yards rushing. But other than that, he couldn't do anything. Got 1 touchdown, 1 2-point conversion. Richard Anderson, to me, was the best player all week. Richard Anderson, defensive tackle for Edna Carr. My goodness, bro, just couldn't be blocked. He was a man on that field. And offensively, Teron Francis, Oliver Mitchell, John Johnson, Dejon Smith. It was just too much for Alexandria to handle. That's basically it, man. The pick 6 from Aiden Hall, it set the tone of how the game was going to go. It's 21-0, and there's 6 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter. You pretty much knew then, this might be over with. VK.
Yes, I mean, this was, probably the best performance I probably ever seen, probably in the car. And I mean, amazing in itself from start to finish, except for those 4 interceptions by John Johnson. But the defense really had their back, and I tell you, that was a huge story in itself. I mean, despite some nice numbers for JT Lindsay, to hold a very good offense to just 6 points, who is average over 30 points, 35 to 40 points a game, to 8 points.
8
Sorry.
points.
8.
Yeah.
Thank you. 8 points. Hold them to 8. That is amazing in itself. And, it's got to be, what we, I guess, under you have other questions after this. But, it's still up there to a great performance, complete in itself. And for Carr, it was just unbelievable to knowing that, hey, this was our time. And I love the theme, reclaim. They wanted to reclaim, and they did it. For Bryce Brown and company, they wanted it this year. And the guys asked me on Saturday, is this the best Edna Carr team you ever seen? I always say that 2014 was the best one I ever seen. This one, after what I seen on Saturday, they got it slightly. This is the best one I ever seen. This is the best Carr team I ever seen. The 2024 team. 10 Years later, they are the best Edna Car team I've ever seen. I'm gonna give them a little bit of that edge, especially what I seen on Saturday. Amazing performance, and I tell you one thing: those two safeties, back to back, that right there was a symbol. This is done. This is done deal. It's over. And for them to cause a running clock to basically make a team tap out, I'm done.
Let me say this before George goes. So yes, Kenny. I saw this on Twitter, 14-0 Productions. And I really didn't read the caption well. I just thought they was about championships and they had Coach So. And I said, no, David Seminole. And then somebody said, no, JB, David Seminole is not coaching um his third team in the Super Bowl, Superdome. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So if you're counting Prep Classic, yes, Coach Salt is the only one that has that's coaching three different teams, that has coached three different teams in the Prep Classic and the Superdome. But we saying championship games, yes, all three have done it. I mean, all those two, Coach Seminole and Coach Salt, have done it. Even though, yes, the Catholic game against Jesuit was at Tulane. That's correct. Go ahead, George Peppers.
We were on the sideline before the car game. The three of us, and watching the end. Look, if you've ever been to a game and in a car to cover or to watch, that walkout is on point. But Jared, what was the first thing we saw? Alexandria on their side, hopping up and down,
Who them
jumping up and
get buck?
down, and
Oh Lord.
they were
What
up and
what they
down,
were
bobbing up
thinking?
and they were like, man, they were getting themselves hyped up, and I'm thinking to myself, the first thought I had, I said, you better have that same energy for 48 minutes, because if you don't bring it, Carr's gonna show you what it's like to play them boys for 48 minutes. And when the pick six happened, and it was 14-0, not even 2 minutes in, and then 5 minutes in, it was 21-0. I knew there was no way back for Alexandria, and they had a courageous season, beat a lot of very good opponents.
They did.
So take nothing away from them. This was one we learned Saturday what we already knew. Edna Kari was just at another level this year
Best team in
than
the
even
state.
the best. They all easily. And there was arguments that Carr could have played Ruston. Not after Saturday. Not after Saturday. I mean, no, sir. Edna Carr, and look, they're graduating some guys. And you say Richie Anderson was the best player you saw. Why didn't he win MVP then? Because he was that much of a force. John Johnson threw 4 interceptions. That's still a sin in my book. I say you give it to Richie Anderson, who
Everybody
lived.
saying Richie should have got it. Everybody
He
saying it.
should have. He
Everybody.
should have, because he paid rent in the backfield. He bought a recliner. He got a big screen TV, and they sat on that bad boy
I,
all day.
I told VK, I think we was on the air. I told VK they were not going to get that to a defensive player. I just told
As
him.
they,
I had the
but
feeling
they
it
should have
wasn't.
though, Jared.
Even though a Haynesville player and a St. James player wanted for their defensive
Right,
plays that they made, I
23
just,
tackles for your boy from St. James.
yeah, Xenon, yeah, I just felt as if
Yeah,
Richie wasn't going to get it. But go
Uh,
ahead, George. You
that was
continue.
not. It was not fair though. He should have won it. But that said, here's how dominant Carr was. You set the running clock, but you gave Alexandria 4 extra possessions in the first half, and they did absolutely nothing with them. That's how dominant Carr was. And there are people popping off about on another chat line how Carr was classless, in the sense of they only stopped scoring because they were forced to. Look, that Bryce Brown is at many things, but a guy that runs up the score, that is not him. That is not his character. He doesn't do that to you unless he's got a reason, which he doesn't. But there were people intimating. Remember when they got the ball late inside Alexandria territory, late in that game, like inside the 3 minute mark. It looked like they were going to get another touchdown, and they sat on the ball. They took knees. But there were people saying, "Oh, look at that! They're showing up Alexandria by taking knees." But they did what they had to do. They won by 45, and they dominated that game. Best team in the state, bar none. And there should be no debate about that at all.
I
it
don't
was
think there's any debate about it, George Peppers. I really don't think so.
no, it was amazing how some of the how before the game, the Rock and everything, we counted about maybe 18 to 20 folks with passes, media pass, all that. They went got video because that entrance there is amazing. It's like I want to get a piece of this. Want to get this? I want to get this memorandum on my phone, on our phones. It was
How about the
amazing.
walkout?
Yes.
Yes, the people.
Hmm.
I counted 20 something people, including some of the people we met. Even Coach O. No, Coach O was on false side, but it was other people that we seen. It was like, okay, we're gonna get some of this. We want to live. Even some of the committee who had the trophies, that was getting them out. It was like, okay, we're gonna get some of this. Amazing. They was like, hey, we want to see the Rock ourselves. We want to get video of it. But then for Alexandria to do what they do and all the talking, the thing
I didn't have a
about it,
problem with it.
the thing about it, what's funny was Alexandria said we want the smoke, and they got smoked. I have never seen a side that quiet. And trust me, Alexandria is a hell of a good team. And was I shocked at the score? Like I'm very happy for Carr, but I was very shocked at this result. I knew Carr would win with goodness gracious, knowing how good this Alexandria team was this season. That was straight domination, and it's like, wow, you just can't say nothing else. This is the best all around team in the state of Louisiana. Period.
There you go, and they're gonna be good next year too, y'all. Um, Kenny, pretty much yes. Pretty much yes. That's the top. George says no. I'm gonna ask George. What's the top job open in his eyes? But yes. Um, you saying they're looking at three coaches from the South. I know Brewerton is one. I don't know the other two. But I know Brewerton once again. His name is mentioned when it comes to West Monroe head coaching job, and we know he used it as leverage last time. Will he use it as leverage again to stay at Zachary? We'll see. But George, what's the top job open right now? John Eric?
Yep. Do you want the West Monroe job? No, think about it. Let me make the case. Do you really want that West Monroe job when their fan base is basically coaching the team ahead of you? They're not gonna look. Jerry Arledge wasn't that good a coach, and the one that just resigned, dog, I just mind blanked. I can't think of the coach's name that just resigned from there. Help me out, guys.
I don't remember his name
Um,
either.
I can't think. I'm like I'm drawing a blank. I know it, and it's like it's sitting there. But here's why the John Eric job is the resources that they have. I can tell you two, no, three very prominent names that have already applied for that job. I'm not going to share them because
No, don't say him.
uh,
Please don't. Please don't.
I'm not going to. But I'll tell you guys off air because I found this out yesterday. Yesterday, through a very, very reliable source. A lot of things I found out yesterday. But the resources that John Eric could offer, you got the whole West Bank. Those that don't want to pay tuition to go to Shaw can come to Eric. They're not going to West Jeff. They're not going to Higgins. And Patrick Taylor, you got to be an A student to go there because that GPA and the ACT scores are crazy good. Um, is TJ on the West Bank? I don't remember. I don't think they are.
TJ
Thomas
Harris?
Yeah,
Jefferson. No,
yes,
TJ. Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, yeah. Old Blink. The old
It's
Blink. Well, no,
that's
that
right.
ain't that no more. That Gretna
junior high.
Junior. Yeah, that's where they at now.
Oh, okay. So they're over there. It's in Gretna. Okay, fair enough. But arguably, oh, there we go, Marcus. Arguably, Aaron's job. I'm going to tell you guys after we get off the air who has applied, and I know. And again, I got this from a very reliable source.
I'll make sure I call
Um,
you in the group chat. We do
you got
that.
that.
All right.
You got that. But yeah, look at the resources. Aaron's got 2,000 and plus student populace. They can have a monopoly on the West Bank of kids that don't want to pay tuition to go to Shaw, right? And Shaw is a team in transition next year. I think there'll be a team in transition because they lose a ton. Mason Wilson, Jasper Parker, Washington. They do get two alignment back, but they're going to be the defense is going to be is bringing a lot back, but offensively they're going to be a little bit different next year. Eric was a young team, but there's a lot more I can say, and I'm really restraining myself. But stuff
So,
that I found out yesterday, I'm leaving it alone.
uh, I'm gonna say this, George. I when it comes to top job right now between those two, I will not.
I don't want
I
West
would not
Monroe.
say John Everett or West Monroe. I'm sorry.
I don't want West Monroe's job because their fans are the ones that coach the team and not the head coaches. The last one that the coach coached the team was Showers. God rest his soul.
Sound like that coach better take control and do what he had to do instead of letting them fans coach, huh, VK?
You say
Well,
that, and you're right.
I really think looking at the two, you know, I would say what and what because of the fact of what you have in both of those schools. I give a little bit of an edge to West Monroe because the
Give a
thing
big
about
head.
West Monroe is this: the community in itself and that school system is going to take care of the coach and they will take care of everything. Let's be real, George.
Oh, no,
Jay,
I'm reading the comments. I'm listening to you.
I get it. I understand Eric has that resource. Cool. They're having a little internal trouble a little bit, but we're not going to talk about Eric like that. Here's the problem: Jefferson Parish, JP ain't gonna step up and take care of nothing. You're going to have to do, and I'm telling you, Eric got to do the heavy lifting to get fundraising, to rebuild things, to upgrade things, all this stuff. Knowing the parish is their job to get them resources that they need to upgrade their schools. So
Y'all
many of the JP
basketball
schools,
gym hasn't even been renovated. Even Bonables hasn't been renovated. Y'all
not,
still playing
not
on some
even
old
Higgins.
tile floor, not even a wooden court.
Higgins ain't been rebuilt. That's how bad it is at JP. It's bad. All I'm telling you is this. And then on top of that, you might be taking up maybe a pay cut or something. It depends. And then you gotta teach. I bet you at West Monroe, the head coach of football not even
He ain't
teaching.
teaching. He ain't teaching.
You chilling. You worried about your football program. So that's the only advantage. That's the only advantage West Monroe really has. You have a combination of your school system and community behind you. Eric, they have some community behind it. It's not all the way, but at the same time, Jefferson Parish Public Schools is not going to save you. You have to fend for yourself, and you have to fight to get what you want. And that's the times we're in now in Jefferson Parish Public Schools. It is that bad.
All right. All right. Everybody that's still here, thank y'all for joining us. Like, tags, share, comment. Come back tomorrow night. We're back on at 7 o'clock again tomorrow night. At 7:20 tomorrow, we have the head coach of the South Plaquemines Hurricanes, Coach Loud Feet. He's going to join us at 7:20. And then at 8 o'clock p.m., the head coach of the Archbishop Shaw Eagles, Coach Hank Tierney. He's going to join us. It's, state championship coach week, y'all. I'm just saying, it is what it is. But they're all going to join us tomorrow. Coach Loud Feet of South Plaquemines. Get ready to hear a bunch of, and Coach Hank Tierney of the Shaw Eagles all tomorrow night. We start at 7 o'clock. Make sure you join us. Tell everybody. Tell your friends. Tell your family members. Tell them all. Tell them all. So, VK, last words before we go.
I know we're gonna get a little uh yes. I think we had a great show tonight. I know we're gonna cap things tomorrow night about the championships, rankings or whatever. But at the same time, man, this was a good show tonight. It's good to have it was good to have state championship coaches on the show and everything, man. But this was a lot of comments. We appreciate all the support, man. You know what I'm saying? Even after the games were over, man, we want to continue to have a great show. And I know we're gonna tomorrow be our last before we go on our break. But at the same time, we want that same energy and support when we come back.
That's
That's
right.
what we want. We want that same energy when we come back from break. So when we get into basketball and everything else. But thank y'all so much supporting us through the show and through our games. This has been a great year, and we're hoping to do bigger and better.
GP.
Yeah, tomorrow will be our last run of 24 as we were headed to 25 because of Christmas and New Year's. That's why it falls in the midweek in our show week. So we're going to take a little bit of a mini hiatus, but we got to make some New Year's resolutions. And I got one from one of our listeners. Don't pick on VK, Austin Tyler. I'm calling you out. Don't pick on VK. Make that a New Year's resolution. That's my boy. That's my dog. And I'm gonna do my. I mean, we can because we're co-hosts of the show. We have the autonomy to do that. We can do that, but it's all love. With that saying, yeah, basketball season is gonna get started. New year. Um, it's gonna be. Look, tonight was great. Tomorrow's gonna be great. Wild Feet and Hank Tierney, and yeah, it was. Yeah, I just enjoy doing this with you guys every Tuesday and Wednesday night. This is my off week, off 2 days. So we'll be together tomorrow night. And hey, look, no Timu internet tonight. Perfect. Let's get that again tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying.
Oh man. Well, that y'all. We want to thank Coach Dennis Skains for joining
Hmm.
us tonight. As he and his team won the non-select Division II state championship. So thank you, Coach Skains, for joining us. And I got another comment in the chat. I'm trying to see what it is. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Austin. There you go. VK's your guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I hate to see his enemies.
And Kenny, I've been good this year so far. I'm an assistant coach. I have hardly argued too much with the refs. I done had my moments, but I have not gotten a technical foul. I haven't got close to one. So I've been behaving myself. I'm doing the best I can.
Good.
Well, good for you. All right. That is it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. For VK Jones, for George Peppers, I am JB the Sports Guy. I got to find a way to end this stream because I cannot get to the button because I don't know how this thing zoomed in. And then I go to my settings and zoom in, zoom
Is it
out.
question, Jared, to help you out? Is it like a big size thing? If you can minimize it,
It's the thing. To minimize
you
it.
can't.
I
Jeez.
can't. I don't know. I know I was dragging the chat down
Right.
and then the screen just went big. So I can't get it back to where it was. I go to
To
the
get the
settings,
normal
zoom
size.
in
I
and zoom
got you.
out. I can't get it back there either. I'm hitting less, and it's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm gonna figure it out. But
Man.
Paranormal stuff.
yeah. So, but everybody, thank y'all so much for joining us. Truly appreciate it. We are out. Um, Hornville Tigers, no matter what. I hear you, Marceline. I hear you. I hear you, definitely. GP needs better internet for Christmas. That's from Anthony Branson.
Go watch this Georgia State Championship game right now, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
that,
This
that
game
game
is
going
going
off,
off.
boy.
It is
Milton
going
and
off,
Who's
Langston
doing
y'all.
game.
it?
Yeah.
Who's doing?
If you got NFHS, go
So
look for the Georgia State Championships, bro. It's Langston Hughes against, I believe, what's that team?
That's Milton's like ranked
Milton.
number 2 in a lot of national polls.
It is 49-35 in the fourth quarter. That's how good this game is.
Yeah, I think Langston Hughes in trouble though.
Yeah.
I do. Bernard Como, how do I find the portions of the show I missed? JB the Sports Guy on YouTube. So go to YouTube, search JB the Sports Guy, and you have everything right there. That's where you get it. All right, everybody. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Make sure all y'all come back here. Y'all take care. Thank you for watching the Hash It Out Show. Please like, subscribe,